In the quiet corners of Dragon Ball Super's mythology, there exists a tournament that redefined what power truly meant across the multiverse. 80 warriors from 8 universes gathered in a void beyond time, fighting not for glory or pride, but for the very survival of their homes. The Tournament of Power stands as perhaps the most consequential event in Dragon Ball history. A 48-minute battle where gods watched mortals decide the fate of existence itself. Before you drift into sleep, you're welcome to subscribe for more calm Dragon Ball stories. And if you feel like it, tell me where you're listening from tonight, as we begin with the moment when Goku first pressed a small button that would set everything into motion. The tournament's origins trace back to a simple desire, a wish to fight strong opponents that Goku carried in his heart like a torch in darkness. After the events involving Zamasu and the destruction of Future Trunks' timeline, Goku returned to ordinary life, working as a radish farmer and delivery driver to satisfy Chi-Chi's demands for financial stability. But the memory of his promise to Zeno lingered, the agreement made during the Universe 6 vs. Universe 7 tournament, that they would organize another competition, something grander and more spectacular than anything before. Goku possessed a device given to him by the Grand Priest, a small communication tool with 2 buttons that allowed direct contact with the Omni King himself. One button would summon Zeno to Goku's location, while the other would transport Goku directly to Zeno's palace. The device represented a level of access to divine authority that no mortal had ever possessed, a direct line to the being who could erase entire universes with a thought. When Goku finally decided to press that button, Beerus and Whis tried desperately to stop him. They understood what Goku did not, that Zeno's childlike demeanor masked an incomprehensible power, and that reminding him of the tournament could have catastrophic consequences. Beerus had witnessed Zeno erase 6 entire universes in a fit of anger eons ago, reducing countless civilizations to nothing in an instant. The god of destruction knew that drawing Zeno's attention was always dangerous, no matter how friendly the Omni King seemed. But Goku pressed the button anyway, vanishing from Beerus's planet in a flash of light, and appearing in the Grand Priest's chamber where both the present and future Zeno sat playing a simple holographic game. The 2 Omni Kings had become friends after Goku brought future Zeno to meet his present counterpart, giving the lonely deity a companion who truly understood him. They greeted Goku with genuine warmth, calling him by name and asking about the tournament he'd mentioned so long ago. What Goku didn't know was that he'd interrupted a conversation of cosmic importance. The 2 Zenos had been discussing the mortal levels of all 12 universes, numerical rankings that measured the quality and advancement of life in each realm. They'd concluded that too many universes existed, that the number 12 was excessive and unwieldy. The Omni Kings had decided to erase 8 universes, keeping only the 4 with the highest mortal levels and wiping the rest from existence without warning or mercy. Goku's arrival and his reminder about the tournament gave them a different idea entirely. Instead of simply erasing the lower universes, they would hold a competition, a grand tournament where each universe would send their strongest warriors to fight. The winning universe would be spared, while all losing universes would be erased completely, every planet and star and living being removed from existence, as if they had never been. The Tournament of Power was born not from noble intentions, but from Zeno's desire for entertainment before carrying out universal genocide. The Grand Priest summoned all the gods of destruction, their attendant angels, and the Supreme Kais to Zeno's palace to announce the tournament. 12 universes stood in attendance, though 4 were immediately exempted from participation. Universe 1, Universe 12, Universe 8 possessed mortal levels above 7, placing them in a safe category that would not face erasure regardless of the tournament's outcome. This left 8 universes to compete in a battle royale for survival. The rules were simple in concept but brutal in execution. Each universe would assemble a team of 10 warriors, the strongest fighters they could find from across their entire realm. These 80 warriors would fight simultaneously in a massive battle royale on a specially constructed arena with no weapons, no killing, and no flying permitted. Fighters would be eliminated by being knocked off the arena or by surrendering, and when time expired after 48 minutes, the universe with the most fighters remaining would be declared victorious. All other participating universes would be erased immediately, their entire populations and histories wiped from existence in an instant. The stakes were absolute, the consequences beyond comprehension. Every fighter would carry the weight of trillions of lives on their shoulders, knowing that defeat meant not just personal death, but the complete annihilation of everyone they'd ever known or loved. The announcement sent shockwaves through the assembled deities. Beerus immediately blamed Goku for suggesting the tournament in the first place, while the Supreme Kai of Universe 7 trembled at the magnitude of what they faced. Other universes reacted with varying degrees of shock, anger, and determination. Sidra, the god of destruction from Universe 9, began plotting ways to eliminate Universe 7's strongest fighter before the tournament even began. Universe 7 faced a particular disadvantage from the start. Their mortal level ranked second lowest among all competing universes, just barely above Universe 9's dismal ranking. This meant they entered the tournament as underdogs, expected to be among the first universes eliminated. Beerus had neglected his duties as god of destruction for eons, sleeping through centuries instead of culling dangerous civilizations, which led to Universe 7's low mortal level rating. The 40-hour preparation period began immediately after the announcement. Goku and the others returned to Earth to begin assembling their team of 10 warriors. The selection process proved more complicated than expected, as many of Earth's strongest fighters had grown complacent or rusty during peacetime. Goku's first instinct was to recruit Monaka, the fighter Beerus had claimed was the strongest person he'd ever fought, not knowing that Monaka was actually a delivery man Beerus had used as motivation during the Universe 6 tournament. Gohan became the team's first official recruit, accepting his father's invitation despite years of academic focus that had weakened his fighting abilities considerably. Gohan hadn't trained seriously since defeating Cell over a decade ago, choosing instead to pursue his studies and build a family with Videl. His power had declined dramatically, and even accessing his ultimate form would require significant preparation and training. Vegeta initially refused to participate, as Bulma was pregnant with their second child and he'd promised to be present for the birth. This marked a significant character development for the Saiyan prince, who'd never been present for Trunks' birth and wanted to be a better father this time. Goku struggled to understand Vegeta's decision, having never been present for either Gohan or Goten's births himself, which led to Vegeta calling him a terrible father despite not being a bad person. The recruitment of Android 17 proved more complex than expected. The former Red Ribbon creation had spent years working as a ranger on a remote island, protecting endangered species from poachers and living a quiet life with his family. Goku tracked him down and challenged him to a sparring match, during which both fighters accessed Super Saiyan Blue and demonstrated that 17 had continued training in secret, maintaining power levels comparable to what he'd possessed during the Cell games, despite his infinite energy reactor limiting his maximum potential. 17 initially declined the invitation, concerned about leaving his island unprotected during his absence. Goku assured him that Trunks and Goten could watch over the animals, and the prospect of fighting strong opponents from other universes eventually convinced 17 to join. His infinite energy would prove crucial during the tournament's later stages, as he would never tire regardless of how long the fighting continued. Android 18 joined the team primarily for the prize money Goku mentioned would be awarded to each participating fighter. 10 million Zeni represented a fortune that could support her family for years, making the risk worthwhile even without knowing the true stakes of universal erasure. Her husband Krillin initially opposed her participation, worried about her safety, but eventually accepted that she was far stronger than him and capable of protecting herself. Krillin himself became a surprising addition to the roster. Despite being the weakest fighter on the team by raw power levels, his tactical thinking and decades of experience made him valuable. Gohan specifically requested Krillin's inclusion, remembering how the short monk had saved his life countless times during the battles on Namek. Krillin trained extensively with Android 18, developing new techniques and strategies that would allow him to compete against opponents far stronger than himself. Piccolo joined without hesitation, his role as Gohan's mentor and guardian making him naturally protective of Earth. The Namekian had spent recent years training in isolation, meditating and honing his abilities to new levels. Though he lacked the raw power of the Saiyans, Piccolo's intelligence and tactical genius made him an asset. He could analyze opponents' weaknesses quickly and coordinate team strategies that maximized everyone's strengths. Master Roshi's inclusion shocked everyone, as the elderly turtle hermit was well over 300 years old and hadn't participated in serious combat for decades. Goku specifically recruited him, remembering that his first martial arts teacher possessed wisdom and experience that surpassed raw power. Roshi proved he could still contribute by demonstrating the Mafuba, a sealing technique that could trap even immortal enemies in a container, making him valuable against opponents who couldn't be defeated through conventional combat. Tien Shinhan accepted his recruitment with quiet determination, knowing he would be outclassed by most opponents, but refusing to back down from protecting Earth. The three-eyed warrior had continued training in isolation with Kiaotsu, pushing his human limits as far as they could go. He developed new variations of his signature techniques, including a stronger version of the Kikuho that could potentially eliminate powerful enemies at the cost of his own life energy. The team's roster still needed one more member, and Goku's search led him to an unexpected candidate. Buu had been sleeping for months after the events with Universe 6, and when Goku and the others tried to wake him for the tournament, they discovered he would remain asleep for another 2 months minimum. His healing abilities and stamina would have been invaluable, but his absence forced them to seek alternatives. Goku suggested recruiting Frieza, the tyrant who'd terrorized the universe for decades and murdered billions across countless planets. The idea horrified everyone, especially Vegeta, who'd watched Frieza destroy planet Vegeta and murder his people, including his own father. But Goku argued that Frieza's power made him necessary, that they needed every advantage possible to survive. He proposed using the Dragon Balls to resurrect Frieza temporarily, just for the tournament's 24 hours, then return him to Hell afterward. Beerus reluctantly agreed to the plan, acknowledging they had no better options with Buu unavailable. Goku traveled to Hell itself, navigating through the underworld to find Frieza suspended in a cocoon of spiritual energy, tortured by cute fairy-like creatures in a twisted mockery of paradise. The tyrant initially refused Goku's offer, but changed his mind when Goku mentioned the possibility of being fully resurrected as a reward for helping Universe 7 survive. Fortune teller Baba performed a resurrection ritual, bringing Frieza back to life for exactly 24 hours. The tyrant emerged in his first form, his golden transformation rippling across his body as he tested his power. Frieza agreed to participate under specific conditions, demanding full resurrection if they won and promising he would behave himself until the tournament concluded. Nobody trusted him, but they had no choice except to accept his terms. The complete roster of Universe 7 stood assembled on Beerus's planet shortly before the tournament began. Son Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Piccolo, Krillin, Android 17, Android 18, Tien Shinhan, Master Roshi, and Frieza represented Earth's last line of defense. 10 warriors carrying the weight of an entire universe on their shoulders, about to face 70 opponents from 7 other universes in a battle that would determine existence itself. Meanwhile, other universes assembled their own teams with varying strategies and philosophies. Universe 11 brought together the Pride Troopers, an organization of heroes led by Toppo who maintained justice and order across their realm. Their strongest fighter, Jiren, meditated in isolation, preparing mentally for the battles ahead. Jiren's power reportedly exceeded even his own god of destruction, making him the tournament's presumed favorite. Universe 6 assembled a team that included Hit, the legendary assassin who'd fought Goku to a standstill during their previous tournament. The Namekians Saiyan and Pirina carried the combined power of their entire race, having fused with all other Namekians in Universe 6 to become super warriors. The Saiyan girls Caulifla and Kale rounded out their heavy hitters, with Caulifla's natural talent and Kale's berserk transformation giving them unexpected power. Universe 2's team consisted entirely of magical girls and transformation warriors, led by Ribrianne and her love-powered transformations. Their strategy focused on overwhelming opponents with coordinated attacks and synchronized transformations that amplified their individual powers. Universe 2's God of Destruction, Hales, valued beauty and grace in combat, which reflected in her team's fighting styles. Universe 3 brought robotic warriors and fusion specialists, planning to combine their fighters into more powerful forms as the tournament progressed. Their ultimate strategy involved creating Anilaza, a massive fusion of multiple warriors that would require combined efforts from multiple universes to defeat. Universe 3's technological approach contrasted sharply with other universes' reliance on raw martial prowess. Universe 4 specialized in deception and trickery, bringing invisible fighters and warriors who could manipulate perception itself. Their strategy relied on eliminating opponents through surprise attacks and psychological warfare rather than direct confrontation. The God of Destruction, Quitella, had shaped Universe 4's fighting philosophy around cunning over strength. Universe 9 entered as the weakest participating universe, their low mortal level making them desperate and dangerous. The trio of Danger, 3 canine brothers who'd fought in the exhibition match, led their team alongside other warriors who knew they faced overwhelming odds. Universe 9's survival depended on miraculous upsets and unlikely victories. Universe 10 brought divine warriors, blessed by their supreme Kai, including Obuni who fought with honor and nobility. Their team emphasized technique and discipline over raw power, believing superior skill could overcome the strength advantage other universes possessed. Each Universe 10 warrior carried sacred items blessed by their deities. The Grand Priest transported all teams to the world of Void, an empty dimension existing outside the normal 12 universes where the tournament would take place. This realm contained nothing except the battle arena itself, a massive circular platform constructed specifically for the competition. The Void had no time, no space, no concepts of up or down beyond the arena's artificial gravity. Spectator stands materialized along the arena's edge, providing elevated viewing platforms for each universe's gods and angels. The arena itself measured enormous in scale, large enough to hold 80 warriors fighting simultaneously without immediate overcrowding. Its surface consisted of an indestructible material that could withstand attacks from gods and mortals alike. The arena's design included various terrain features, raised platforms, pillars, and open spaces that would allow for diverse fighting strategies and tactical positioning. Fighters from all universes assembled on the arena floor, sizing up their competition and identifying the most dangerous threats. Goku's relaxed demeanor contrasted with the terror visible on many faces. As most warriors now understood, they were fighting for universal survival. The Omni Kings took their seats in the highest stands, accompanied by their guards and the Grand Priest who would serve as the tournament's referee. Before the fighting began, the Grand Priest announced one final rule addition. To prevent stalling tactics, fighters who attempted to avoid combat or hide during the tournament would be eliminated immediately by the Xenos themselves. This forced all participants into active combat, ensuring the Battle Royale would remain dynamic and entertaining for the Omni Kings watching from above. Tension built as the countdown began, fighters assuming battle stances and eyeing their nearest opponents. Some formed alliances immediately, while others prepared to fight alone. The 48-minute timer appeared above the arena, displayed for all to see. Every second would count. Every decision could mean the difference between salvation and total annihilation. The Grand Priest's voice echoed through the void, announcing the tournament's beginning. 80 warriors exploded into motion simultaneously, energy attacks lighting up the arena as universes clashed in a chaotic melee. The tournament of power had officially begun, and the multiverse's fate hung in the balance of 48 minutes of combat. Universe 9 immediately focused their attacks on Goku, recognizing him as the fighter who'd suggested the tournament in the first place. Multiple warriors converged on the Saiyan, attempting to eliminate him quickly and remove Universe 7's strongest apparent fighter. Goku defended himself while trying not to power up fully, saving his stamina for later rounds when fatigue would become a factor. Vegeta fought separately from Goku, refusing to team up despite the strategic advantage it would provide. The Saiyan Prince's pride demanded he prove his individual strength, and he tore through Universe 9 fighters with methodical efficiency. Each opponent fell before his Super Saiyan Blue transformation, their attacks unable to penetrate his defenses or match his combat experience. Gohan took a leadership role among the Universe 7 fighters, coordinating attacks and watching team positioning to prevent anyone from being isolated. His tactical mind analyzed the battlefield constantly, identifying threats and opportunities that others missed. Though his power had declined, Gohan's intelligence made him valuable in ways beyond pure fighting ability. Master Roshi surprised everyone by successfully using the Mafuba to seal away a Universe 4 warrior, removing one opponent from play without needing to match their power level. The elderly martial artist's technique and experience allowed him to contribute despite his relatively weak energy level. However, the Mafuba's use cost him significant stamina, leaving Roshi vulnerable to counterattacks. Krillin and Android 18 fought as a married couple, their teamwork refined through years of training together. 18's superior strength protected Krillin while he used tactical positioning and solar flare techniques to blind and confuse opponents. Their coordination eliminated several enemies before Krillin made a critical mistake, closing his eyes during a solar flare and leaving himself vulnerable to an elimination. Universe 10's Obuni targeted Gohan specifically, recognizing the half-Saiyan as a dangerous fighter, despite his reduced power. Their battle showcased Obuni's meditation-enhanced combat style, which allowed him to predict Gohan's moves and counter them effectively. Gohan eventually prevailed by accessing his ultimate form, the transformation Elder Kai had unlocked during the Majin Buu conflict. Piccolo faced multiple opponents simultaneously, using his Namekian abilities to stretch his limbs and create strategic advantages. His special beam cannon pierced through one fighter's defenses, eliminating them from the tournament. Piccolo's regeneration allowed him to recover from injuries that would cripple human fighters, giving him endurance other team members lacked. Android 17 displayed unexpected power, having trained consistently during his years as an animal preserve ranger. His infinite energy meant he never tired, maintaining maximum power output while other fighters gradually weakened. 17's barriers protected himself and allies from devastating attacks, and his tactical mind identified elimination opportunities others missed. Frieza fought with sadistic pleasure, toying with opponents before eliminating them in humiliating ways. The tyrant's golden form overwhelmed most enemies, his decades of combat experience making him nearly untouchable. Frieza occasionally aided Universe 7 teammates, but only when it benefited his own survival, making it clear he fought for himself rather than the team. Universe 9 collapsed quickly under pressure from multiple universes. Their warriors fell one by one, unable to match the power levels of fighters from stronger universes. The trio of danger made desperate final stands, but superior numbers and strength overwhelmed them. When Universe 9's last fighter fell, the Omni Kings raised their hands and erased the entire universe from existence. The erasure happened instantly and completely. Universe 9's God of Destruction, Supreme Kai, Angel, and every living being across countless planets simply vanished, their existence removed from reality itself. The spectator stands where Universe 9's gods had sat became empty, a silent reminder of what failure meant. Fighters on the arena floor paused momentarily, the weight of those deaths settling over them like a suffocating blanket. For many warriors, Universe 9's erasure transformed the tournament from an exciting competition into a terrifying fight for survival. The abstract concept of universal destruction became horrifyingly concrete, visible proof that the Omni Kings would carry through their promise without hesitation or mercy. Some fighters froze in shock, while others fought with renewed desperation, knowing they carried responsibility for countless lives. Universe 7's fighters regrouped after Universe 9's elimination, taking stock of their remaining team members and discussing strategy. Gohan emphasized staying together, protecting each other, and coordinating attacks to eliminate threats efficiently. Goku and Vegeta agreed reluctantly, though both Saiyans preferred fighting alone. The team moved as a unit, covering each other's weaknesses and overwhelming isolated opponents. Caulifla and Kale from Universe 6 encountered Goku during a lull in the fighting. The young Saiyan girl, Caulifla, challenged Goku to teach her Super Saiyan transformations, fascinated by the different forms he displayed. Goku agreed enthusiastically, happy to help another Saiyan grow stronger even in the middle of a survival tournament. He demonstrated Super Saiyan 2, and Super Saiyan 3, explaining how each transformation worked. Caulifla proved to be a prodigy, achieving Super Saiyan 2 almost immediately after seeing Goku demonstrate it. Her natural talent for fighting reminded Goku of himself as a child, learning and adapting at incredible speeds. Kale watched nervously from the sidelines, feeling inadequate compared to her friend's rapid improvement, and worried she would be left behind. The friendly training session angered some fighters from other universes, who couldn't understand why Goku would help opponents from a rival universe. Vegeta specifically condemned it as foolish, arguing that making enemies stronger contradicted their survival goals. But Goku viewed the tournament as an opportunity to fight strong opponents, and helping Caulifla become stronger meant better fights ahead. Kale's insecurity eventually triggered her transformation into a berserker Super Saiyan, her body mutating with bulging muscles and uncontrolled power. The transformation overwhelmed her consciousness, turning her into a rampaging force that attacked friends and enemies indiscriminately. Kale's berserker form proved incredibly powerful, shrugging off attacks from Super Saiyan Blue Goku and tossing aside multiple fighters from different universes. The berserker Kale's rampage brought together an unusual alliance of Universe 7 and Universe 11 fighters who combined their efforts to calm her down. Jiren briefly intervened, his overwhelming power stopping Kale's rampage with a single attack that left her unconscious. The display of Jiren's strength silenced the entire arena, as warriors from all universes recognized they'd just witnessed power on a completely different level. Pride Trooper Toppo challenged Goku and Vegeta, testing Universe 11's strength against Universe 7's Saiyan warriors. The battle demonstrated Toppo's philosophy of justice, his fighting style emphasizing protecting the weak and punishing evil. Toppo's energy of destruction, bestowed by his status as God of Destruction candidate, gave him techniques beyond normal fighters. Vegeta particularly clashed with Toppo's justice philosophy, arguing that survival transcended morality during the tournament. Their ideological conflict fueled their physical battle, with Vegeta's pride versus Toppo's righteousness, creating dramatic tension. The fight ended inconclusively when other threats demanded their attention, but both warriors acknowledged the other's strength. Universe 2's magical girl transformations created colorful chaos across the battlefield, their love-powered attacks embarrassing rather than damaging opponents. Ribrianne's transformation into her magical girl form generated energy hearts and love beams that several fighters found difficult to counter with traditional combat techniques. Android 17 eventually eliminated Ribrianne using his analytical fighting style, identifying weaknesses in her transformation's energy pattern. Universe 3 began combining their warriors into more powerful forms, mechanical bodies merging together to create larger and stronger constructs. Their fusion strategy allowed weaker individuals to compete against powerful opponents, though it reduced their team's overall numbers. The strategy worked temporarily, with fused warriors eliminating several fighters from other universes before being overwhelmed by superior combinations. Universe 6's Namekian warriors, Saiyan and Purina, revealed they'd absorbed all other Namekians from their universe, making them incredibly powerful despite being only two individuals. Their fusion with entire races gave them abilities and techniques beyond what normal Namekians possessed. Piccolo and Gohan teamed up to fight them, with Piccolo recognizing fellow Namekian warriors and wanting to test his strength against their combined might. The battle between Namekians showcased techniques unique to their race, including regeneration, limb stretching, and energy manipulation that other species couldn't replicate. Piccolo pushed himself beyond previous limits, developing new techniques in the midst of combat. Gohan supported his mentor, their years of training together creating seamless teamwork that eventually overcame the Universe 6 Namekians' raw power advantage. Hit fought several battles across the tournament, his time manipulation abilities making him dangerous to nearly every opponent. The legendary assassin could skip forward in time by fractions of a second, appearing to teleport and making his attacks impossible to predict or counter. Hit's invisible energy attacks eliminated several fighters before they understood what killed them. Goku sought out Hit specifically, wanting another match against the assassin who'd pushed him so far during the Universe 6 tournament. Their rematch demonstrated how both fighters had grown, with Goku's improved instincts allowing him to predict Hit's time skips, while Hit developed new techniques that even prediction couldn't counter. The battle ended in mutual respect rather than elimination, as both fighters acknowledged they'd met their match. Dispo from Universe 11 specialized in incredible speed, moving faster than sound and creating sonic booms with his movements. The rabbit-like warrior challenged Hit specifically, believing his speed surpassed Hit's time manipulation abilities. Their battle-tested technique against raw velocity, with Dispo's speed actually countering Hit's time skip by moving too fast for the assassin to target effectively. Frieza intervened in the Hit versus Dispo battle, forming a temporary alliance with Hit to eliminate the Pride Trooper Speedster. The unlikely partnership between Universe 6's Hit and Universe 7's Frieza demonstrated how desperate the situation had become, with former enemies cooperating to survive. Dispo's elimination required both fighters working together, their combined abilities finally overwhelming his speed advantage. Universe 4's invisible fighters created paranoia across the battlefield, with warriors unable to see or sense their attackers. Several eliminations occurred through invisible surprise attacks before Universe 7 adapted. Gohan developed a strategy using dust and debris to track the invisible enemies' movements, making them visible through environmental effects. His analytical thinking turned Universe 4's advantage into a weakness. Tien Shinhan sacrificed himself to eliminate Universe 4's invisible warriors, using his Kikoho technique to blast the entire area and force the hidden fighters off the arena. The attack cost Tien so much energy that he fell unconscious and was eliminated himself, but his sacrifice removed multiple threats and protected his teammates. Master Roshi honored Tien's sacrifice by fighting even harder, determined to make his students' elimination worthwhile. Master Roshi faced increasingly powerful opponents as the tournament progressed, his stamina depleting rapidly from using the Mafuba and other energy-intensive techniques. The elderly turtle hermit eventually pushed himself too far, his body giving out from exhaustion. Before being eliminated, Roshi imparted final wisdom to Goku about fighting with instinct rather than thought, advice that would prove crucial in the tournament's final stages. Goku's battles accumulated damage despite his incredible power, the constant fighting wearing down even a Saiyan's legendary stamina. He faced Jiren briefly, testing the Pride Trooper's strength and finding himself completely outmatched. Jiren's power exceeded anything Goku had encountered before, the warrior's energy so concentrated and controlled that even Super Saiyan Blue couldn't compete. The pressure of fighting Jiren triggered something unprecedented in Goku. His body moved instinctively to dodge attacks his mind couldn't perceive, accessing a state where consciousness gave way to pure reflex. Ultra Instinct awakened for the first time, Goku's hair shifting silver as his power skyrocketed to match and potentially exceed Jiren's level. The transformation shocked every spectator, as even gods of destruction struggled to master Ultra Instinct. Goku's incomplete Ultra Instinct form battled Jiren to a standstill, their clash generating shockwaves that threatened the arena's integrity. For the first time in his life, Jiren found an opponent who could match his strength, someone who pushed him to fight seriously rather than holding back. The Grand Priest watched with interest, noting that Goku had achieved what most gods never could. The Ultra Instinct transformation lasted only briefly before Goku's body gave out, unable to maintain the form's incredible demands. He collapsed on the arena floor, completely drained and vulnerable to elimination. His teammates rushed to protect him, fighting off attackers while Goku slowly recovered consciousness. The temporary transformation had taken everything he had, leaving him weaker than before it activated. Vegeta watched Goku's transformation with mixed emotions, pride in his rival's achievement conflicting with jealousy that Goku had reached another level first. The Saiyan Prince pushed himself harder, trying to access Ultra Instinct through sheer force of will. His pride refused to accept that Goku had surpassed him again, driving Vegeta to train even during the tournament's brief lulls. Caulifla and Kale fused into Kefla, using Potara earrings, creating a warrior with combined strength that rivaled Super Saiyan Blue. The fused Saiyan girl challenged Goku despite his exhausted state, confident her power could eliminate Universe 7's strongest fighter. Kefla's incredible energy forced Goku to dig deeper than ever before, searching for any remaining strength. The battle with Kefla triggered Ultra Instinct again, Goku's body reacting to the life-threatening danger by accessing the transformation when conscious thought failed. His silver-haired form returned, moving with fluid perfection that made Kefla's attacks seem slow and clumsy. Goku's incomplete Ultra Instinct couldn't be sustained long, but while active, it made him virtually untouchable. Goku defeated Kefla with a massive Kamehameha wave, the attack catching her mid-flight and blasting her off the arena to eliminate both Caulifla and Kale simultaneously. The fusion's elimination shocked Universe 6, removing two of their strongest fighters in a single blow. Goku collapsed again after the transformation faded, his body paying the price for accessing godly power without proper control. Universe 6's elimination followed shortly after Kefla's defeat, their remaining fighters unable to survive against combined pressure from multiple universes. Hit fought valiantly until the end, eliminating several opponents before Jiren personally removed him from the competition. When Universe 6's last fighter fell, the Omni Kings erased the universe, including Champa, the god of destruction, and all the warriors Goku had befriended during previous adventures. The erasure of Universe 6 particularly affected the spectators from Universe 7. Champa was Beerus's twin brother, the two gods sharing a bond despite their rivalry. Beerus showed no emotion as his brother vanished, maintaining divine composure while privately mourning the loss. The erasures had become routine, another universe gone, more billions of lives extinguished without ceremony. Universe 2 fell next, their love-powered warriors unable to match the superior strength of remaining fighters. Ribrianne and her team fought bravely, their transformations creating spectacular displays but lacking the raw power needed to compete at the tournament's highest levels. Their elimination came from combined attacks by multiple universes, overwhelming their defenses through superior numbers and coordination. Universe 3 attempted their final strategy, merging all remaining warriors into Anilaza, a massive fusion construct powered by technological enhancement. The giant warrior possessed incredible strength and durability, requiring Universe 7 and Universe 11 fighters to temporarily cooperate. Anilaza's defeat came through combined efforts, multiple fighters attacking simultaneously to exploit weaknesses in the fusion's coordination. Android 17 played a crucial role in defeating Anilaza, identifying the core that powered the fusion and targeting it specifically. His infinite energy allowed him to fire continuous attacks without tiring, eventually piercing Anilaza's defenses and causing the fusion to collapse. Universe 3's elimination followed immediately, the Omni Kings erasing them without waiting to see if they could recover. Universe 10's final fighters maintained their dignity and honor, even facing inevitable defeat. They fought without tricks or deception, facing stronger opponents directly and accepting elimination with grace. Their god of destruction, Ramses, showed genuine pride in his warriors' conduct, believing they'd represented their universe well regardless of the outcome. The Omni Kings erased Universe 10 while their fighters still fought, mid-battle erasure that shocked those who witnessed it. Universe 4's deceptive strategies eventually failed against opponents who'd learned to counter invisibility and mind tricks. Their last fighters fell to Gohan and Piccolo, who'd developed techniques to detect hidden enemies through means other than sight or energy sensing. Universe 4's god of destruction, Quitilla, cursed and blamed his warriors for failure before the erasure took him. The tournament entered its final stages with only Universe 7 and Universe 11 remaining, their fighters scattered across the damaged arena. Goku and Vegeta faced Jiren, while Android 17, Gohan, and Frieza dealt with Universe 11's remaining Pride Troopers. The clock showed mere minutes remaining, each second precious, as the battle reached its climax. Jiren revealed his backstory to Goku during their battle, explaining how he'd lost everything to a demon that murdered his family and master. The tragedy had shaped Jiren's philosophy that strength was everything, that trust and bonds with others created weakness. He'd spent his entire life pursuing absolute power, believing it would prevent future losses and allow him to create a world where justice prevailed through overwhelming strength. Goku rejected Jiren's philosophy, arguing that bonds and friendships had made him stronger rather than weaker. Every battle Goku had won came through help from others, through training with mentors and fighting alongside friends. His power came not from isolation but connection, from pushing himself to protect those he cared about. The ideological clash added depth to their physical battle. Vegeta fought alongside Goku against Jiren, the two Saiyans combining their strength for the first time in the tournament. Their teamwork proved effective, with Vegeta covering Goku's weaknesses and vice versa. Years of rivalry had created deep understanding of each other's fighting styles, allowing coordination without verbal communication. Together, they pushed Jiren harder than anyone had before. Toppo ascended to God of Destruction level power during his battle with Gohan and Frieza, abandoning his justice philosophy to embrace destruction's raw force. The transformation granted him energy that could erase matter, making his attacks impossible to block conventionally. Toppo's power increase changed the battle's dynamics, as Universe 7 fighters struggled against someone wielding divine destruction energy. Vegeta intervened in the battle against Toppo, challenging the Pride Trooper to combat and eventually defeating him through determination and strategic thinking. The Saiyan Prince pushed beyond Super Saiyan Blue's normal limits, accessing a evolution of the form that concentrated power into offensive capability at the cost of defense. Vegeta's victory eliminated Universe 11's second strongest warrior, leaving only Jiren and Dispo. Android 17 and Gohan eliminated Dispo through teamwork, trapping the speedster in a situation where his velocity became a disadvantage. 17's barriers created walls that Dispo couldn't evade at high speed, while Gohan's energy attacks forced him into predictable paths. Dispo's elimination left Jiren as Universe 11's sole remaining fighter. The numbers advantage didn't help Universe 7 as much as expected, since Jiren's power exceeded their entire team combined. Goku accessed Ultra Instinct again, this time achieving the form's complete state rather than the incomplete version he'd used before. His hair turned silver entirely, his eyes becoming silver-gray as divine aura surrounded him. Mastered Ultra Instinct transformed Goku into something beyond mortal limitations. The battle between Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku and Full Power Jiren shook the entire world of Void, their clash generating energy that threatened to destroy the arena itself. Gods of Destruction watched in awe, recognizing power that matched or exceeded their own levels. The Grand Priest monitored carefully, ready to intervene if their battle endangered the spectators or Omni Kings. Goku's mastered Ultra Instinct allowed him to attack and defend simultaneously without conscious thought, his body reacting faster than neural signals could travel. Jiren's raw power tried to overwhelm through brute force, but Goku's technique made the straightforward approach ineffective. For every attack Jiren launched, Goku countered perfectly, the ultimate offense meeting the ultimate defense. The transformation proved unstable, however, Goku's body unable to sustain mastered Ultra Instinct's demands for extended periods. His power began fluctuating, moments of perfection interrupted by lapses where exhaustion broke through. Jiren recognized the weakness and pressed his advantage, forcing Goku to maintain the transformation longer than his stamina allowed. Goku's Ultra Instinct finally failed completely, the transformation vanishing and leaving him powerless on the arena floor. Jiren prepared a final attack to eliminate the Saiyan, but Vegeta intervened despite his own exhaustion. The Saiyan Prince refused to let Goku be eliminated alone, his pride demanding he fight until the very end regardless of odds. Goku and Vegeta fought together in base forms, their combined strength barely affecting Jiren but refusing to surrender. Their teamwork improved with each exchange, years of rivalry creating understanding that made them effective partners. Jiren respected their determination even while overwhelming them, acknowledging that their bond gave them strength beyond individual power. Frieza joined the battle against Jiren, creating a temporary alliance of Universe 7's three strongest warriors. The Tyrant's golden form added firepower that Goku and Vegeta lacked in their exhausted states. Three fighters working together managed to pressure Jiren, their coordination exploiting brief openings in his defense. Android 17 attacked from unexpected angles, using his infinite energy to fire continuous blasts that distracted Jiren. The android's tactical thinking identified opportunities for his teammates to strike, creating combinations that wouldn't work if any single fighter was missing. Universe 7's teamwork began overwhelming Jiren's individual strength, proving Goku's philosophy about bonds making warriors stronger. Vegeta fell first, eliminated after a massive combined attack drained his remaining strength. His elimination devastated Universe 7's fans, but inspired Goku and Frieza to fight harder. The Saiyan and Tyrant formed an unlikely partnership, enemies becoming allies through shared desperation. Their cooperation allowed attacks neither could execute alone. Goku grabbed Jiren from behind, restraining the Pride Trooper's movements, while Frieza charged a massive death beam. The plan was mutual elimination, sacrificing both Goku and Jiren to leave Android 17 as Universe 7's last fighter. Frieza's blast hit all three, the explosion blasting Goku, Jiren, and Frieza off the arena simultaneously. Android 17 emerged from beneath rubble, where he'd hidden after faking self-destruction earlier in the tournament. The android's tactical thinking had created a backup plan, allowing him to survive while appearing eliminated. His victory shocked everyone, as the tournament's winner was neither Goku, Vegeta, nor any of Universe 7's seemingly stronger fighters. The Grand Priest declared Universe 7 victorious as time expired, with Android 17 as their sole remaining fighter compared to Universe 11's 0. The Omni Kings prepared to erase Universe 11, but 17 requested the Super Dragon Balls as his prize. He wished for all erased universes to be restored, shocking the gods who'd assumed he would wish for something selfish. The Super Dragon Balls granted 17's wish, restoring all erased universes and their inhabitants. Universe 9 through Universe 11 reappeared in the spectator stands, their gods and fighters confused about what had happened. The Grand Priest explained that Android 17's selfless wish had proven mortals' worth, which had been the true purpose of the tournament all along. The Omni Kings revealed they'd planned to restore the erased universes if the winner made a selfless wish, but would have erased all universes if the winner proved selfish. The tournament had tested mortal quality rather than just power, evaluating whether beings from the lower universes deserved existence. Android 17's wish proved that mortals could surpass divine expectations. All warriors returned to their home universes. The Tournament of Power concluded without permanent casualties. Goku and Jiren parted with mutual respect, promising to fight again under better circumstances. The Pride Trooper acknowledged that bonds and teamwork had value he'd overlooked, his philosophy evolving through defeat. Frieza received full resurrection as reward for his contribution to Universe 7's victory. Beerus, using the last moments of 17's wish to restore the tyrant to life. The Emperor returned to his empire, vowing to resume his evil ways, but acknowledging that Goku would be there to stop him. Their rivalry would continue, villain and hero locked in eternal conflict. Android 17 returned to his island preserve, receiving a luxury cruise ship from Bulma as thanks for saving the universe. His family never learned the full truth of what he'd done, the android preferring quiet anonymity to celebration. He resumed his ranger duties, protecting endangered animals with the same determination he'd shown protecting Universe 7. Goku and Vegeta resumed training with Whis, both Saiyans determined to master Ultra Instinct and reach new levels of power. The tournament had shown them how far they still had to grow, how many opponents existed across the multiverse who could challenge them. Their rivalry intensified, pushing each other toward greater heights. The gods of the restored universes returned to their duties, shaken by how close they'd come to permanent erasure. Some gods of destruction began taking their responsibilities more seriously, culling dangerous civilizations and raising their universe's mortal levels. The tournament had reminded them that even gods could be held accountable for failure. The Tournament of Power's impact rippled across the multiverse for years afterward. Mortals who'd participated spread stories of their experiences, inspiring new generations of warriors to train and grow stronger. The event proved that mortals could stand alongside gods, that dedication and teamwork could overcome even overwhelming power. Universes that had been exempt from the tournament watched carefully, their higher mortal levels protecting them, but not making them invincible. The god of destruction from Universe 1 particularly noted how Universe 7's victory came through teamwork rather than individual strength, a lesson his own universe could learn. The Grand Priest archived records of the tournament, preserving every battle and elimination for future study. These records would help train future angels and gods, showing them how mortals fought and what motivated them. The tournament had provided invaluable data about mortal nature across different universes. Xeno's guards discussed the tournament among themselves, noting how close several universes had come to preventing erasure. Universe 9 had nearly eliminated Goku early, which would have changed everything. Universe 6 could have won if Hit had focused on survival instead of honor. Small decisions cascaded into universe-ending consequences. The Omni Kings themselves moved on quickly, the tournament's spectacle entertaining them but not holding their attention permanently. They returned to their usual games and amusements, occasionally mentioning holding another tournament someday. The thought terrified every god of destruction who heard about it. Champa and Beerus resumed their sibling rivalry, the god of destruction from Universe 6, grateful for restoration but annoyed that his universe had been erased at all. He blamed Universe 7 for the tournament's creation, though secretly acknowledged his fighters had lost fairly. The twins competed over trivial matters, their relationship unchanged by near-permanent separation. Hit returned to his assassination work, taking contracts across Universe 6, but maintaining the moral code he demonstrated during the tournament. His battles with Goku had changed him subtly, making him question whether strength alone defined worth. The assassin began refusing contracts that targeted innocents, choosing his jobs more carefully. Caulifla and Kale continued training together, their friendship deepened by the tournament's shared experiences. Caulifla pursued Super Saiyan 3 and beyond, convinced she could eventually match Goku's transformations. Kale learned to control her berserker form, transforming it from liability into strength. The Universe 6 Saiyans became heroes in their realm. The Pride Troopers expanded their organization after the tournament, recruiting new members inspired by their example. Toppo resumed his role as team leader, his brief stint as God of Destruction candidate abandoned in favor of heroic justice. Dispo trained to become even faster, determined to overcome the speed limitations that led to his elimination. Chiron meditated in isolation, processing his defeat and reconsidering his life philosophy. The warrior who'd believed strength was everything had lost to opponents who drew power from bonds and teamwork. His master's teachings took on new meaning, lessons about trust and connection that Jiren had ignored for years. Slowly, carefully, the strongest Pride Trooper began opening himself to friendship. Universe 7's mortal level improved slightly after the tournament, the event inspiring people to better themselves. Earth's inhabitants learned that gods watched them, that their actions affected cosmic standings. Some took the revelation seriously, working to improve society and advance civilization. Others dismissed it as fiction, unable to accept that gods cared about mortal affairs. Gohan balanced his scholarly pursuits with renewed training, recognizing he couldn't protect his family through knowledge alone. Videl supported his training regimen, understanding that her husband carried responsibility for Earth's defense. Pan grew up hearing stories of the tournament, inspiring her to train and become strong like her grandfather. Piccolo trained in solitude, developing new techniques and pushing his Namekian abilities further. The tournament had shown him that raw power wasn't enough, that strategy and teamwork mattered as much as strength. He shared these lessons with Gohan during their training sessions, preparing the Half Saiyan for future threats. Krillin and Android 18 returned to their normal lives, running a martial arts dojo that taught children self-defense. Their daughter Meron learned fighting techniques from both parents, combining Krillin's fundamentals with 18's power. The couple rarely discussed the tournament, preferring to focus on family rather than near-universal extinction. Tien Shinhan resumed his isolated training, his elimination motivating him to develop stronger techniques. The three-eyed warrior knew he couldn't match Saiyan transformations, but refused to become irrelevant. He created new Kikoho variations that consumed less life energy, making the technique sustainable rather than suicidal. Master Roshi returned to his island, satisfied with his tournament performance, but acknowledging his fighting days were numbered. The Turtle Hermit spent more time training students, passing on knowledge accumulated over 300 years. His advice about fighting through instinct had helped Goku achieve Ultra Instinct, proving that wisdom sometimes mattered more than power. Bulma continued supporting the Saiyan warriors through technology and resources, her scientific genius complementing their fighting abilities. She developed new training equipment based on tournament observations, creating gravity chambers that could simulate conditions from other universes. Bulma understood she couldn't fight, but she could make fighters stronger. Whis observed Universe 7's development with satisfaction, noting how the tournament had motivated mortals to improve themselves. The Angels' training of Goku and Vegeta intensified, pushing the Saiyans toward mastery of Ultra Instinct and other divine techniques. Whis saw potential in Universe 7, believing they might eventually raise their mortal level above the safe threshold. Beerus slept less and worked more, his mere erasure motivating the god of destruction to take his duties seriously. He began identifying and destroying civilizations that threatened Universe 7's mortal level, though he did so reluctantly. Beerus preferred sleeping to working, but acknowledged that dereliction of duty had nearly cost everything. The Oracle Fish's prophecy about Goku and Vegeta becoming Beerus's greatest rivals gained new credibility after the tournament. Both Saiyans had demonstrated god-level power, with Goku briefly surpassing even gods of destruction through Ultra Instinct. Beerus watched them warily, wondering if the fish's predictions would come true. Universe 7's Supreme Kaishin studied more diligently, trying to understand his role in raising mortal levels. The young deity recognized his inexperience had contributed to Universe 7's low ranking. Shin researched previous Supreme Kai's work, learning techniques for nurturing civilizations and guiding mortal development. The Galactic Patrol learned about the tournament through scattered reports, their organization questioning what role they should play in protecting the universe. Jocko had been oblivious to the crisis, his patrol duties keeping him far from Earth. during the tournament. The revelation that gods judged mortals on a universal scale motivated the patrol to improve their peacekeeping efforts. Earth's population remained largely unaware of how close they'd come to erasure. Some witnesses saw the tournament through surveillance technology, but most dismissed it as elaborate special effects or publicity stunts. Only those directly connected to the Z fighters understood the truth, carrying knowledge of universal stakes that most humans couldn't comprehend. Chi-Chi worried constantly about Goku after learning what had happened, her fear for his safety conflicting with pride in his achievements. She'd nearly lost her husband to universal erasure, a threat even her legendary nagging couldn't prevent. Chi-Chi demanded Goku promise to be more careful, knowing he couldn't keep such promises, but needing to hear them anyway. Vegeta's family celebrated his survival, Bulma throwing a party that the Saiyan prince attended reluctantly. Trunks and Bulla admired their father's strength, listening to stories about fighting for a universal survival. Vegeta showed rare affection toward his family, the tournament reminding him what he fought to protect. If you're still awake halfway through, maybe subscribe before you drift off, and tell me what time it is where you're watching from. The Tournament of Power established precedents that would affect the multiverse for generations. Future conflicts would be judged against this standard, the greatest battle mortals had ever fought. Some beings viewed it as proof that mortals could stand alongside gods, while others saw it as confirmation that mortals needed divine supervision. Zeno's willingness to erase universes sent shockwaves through divine hierarchies across reality. Gods of destruction who'd viewed their positions as secure realized they served at the Omni King's pleasure, subject to erasure if their performance proved inadequate. The casual nature of Zeno's erasures terrified beings who'd thought themselves beyond consequences. The Grand Priest's role in organizing the tournament raised questions about his true motivations. Some suspected he'd influenced Zeno's decision to hold the tournament rather than simply erasing universes immediately. Whether the Grand Priest acted from benevolence or curiosity remained uncertain, his inscrutable nature preventing definitive answers. Angels from erased universes had been deactivated during their realm's non-existence, their consciousnesses suspended in a timeless void. Upon restoration, they remembered nothing of the erasure, perceiving no gap in their existence. The angels resumed guiding their universes as if nothing had happened. Unaware, they temporarily ceased to exist. Warriors from restored universes experienced strange phenomena after returning to life. Some retained partial memories of being erased, nightmare visions of nothingness that haunted their dreams. Others felt phantom sensations of non-existence, brief moments where they questioned their own reality. Most dismissed these experiences as stress reactions rather than actual memories. The Super Dragon Balls returned to their dormant state after granting Android 17's wish, scattering across universes 6 and 7. Their power to affect multiple universes simultaneously made them the multiverse's most valuable objects. Gods and mortals alike coveted the Dragon Balls, though finding all 7 required searching 2 entire universes. Champa and Beerus agreed to share custody of the Super Dragon Balls, preventing either universe from monopolizing their power. The arrangement required cooperation between the rival gods, forcing them to communicate regularly. Their relationship improved slightly through this forced interaction, though they'd never admit it aloud. The tournament revealed power levels that mortals had never imagined possible. Jiren's strength exceeded most gods of destruction, proving that mortals could reach divine levels through dedication alone. This discovery motivated warriors across all universes to train harder, believing they too might achieve godlike power. Ultra Instinct became the multiverse's most sought-after technique after Goku demonstrated it publicly. Warriors everywhere attempted to access the transformation, though none succeeded initially. Gods of destruction who'd spent eons failing to master Ultra Instinct felt embarrassed that a mortal Saiyan had achieved it, even briefly. The technique's mechanics remained mysterious despite Whis' explanations. Ultra Instinct required separating consciousness from movement, allowing the body to react without the delay of thought. This contradicted how most beings functioned, making the technique nearly impossible to learn deliberately. Goku had accessed it through desperation rather than training, which complicated efforts to teach others. Vegeta refused to pursue Ultra Instinct after the tournament, the technique's reliance on instinct conflicting with his prideful nature. The Saiyan prince preferred to force his way through limits rather than surrendering to unconscious reflex. He developed his own path toward godly power, Super Saiyan Blue evolution representing his unique approach to transcendence. The philosophical differences between Goku and Vegeta's approaches to power created interesting debates among gods and mortals. Goku's instinctive fighting style embraced flexibility and adaptation, while Vegeta's calculated approach emphasized will and determination. Neither method proved definitively superior, both paths leading to comparable power levels through different means. Gohan's scholarly nature led him to research the tournament thoroughly after returning home. He compiled reports from various fighters, documenting techniques and strategies used across universes. Gohan's academic study of combat created a comprehensive database that future generations could learn from. His work helped Earth's fighters understand threats they might face from other universes. Piccolo contributed Namekian perspectives to Gohan's research, explaining how different species approached combat differently. The Namekian's regeneration gave him unique insights into endurance strategies that other species couldn't replicate. Piccolo's tactical analysis identified patterns in how fighters from different universes approached battle. Android 17 gave extensive interviews about his tournament experience, though he downplayed his role as the ultimate victor. The android attributed his success to luck rather than skill, claiming he'd simply survived while stronger fighters eliminated each other. His modesty annoyed those who recognized his tactical genius had been crucial to victory. Krillin analyzed his own elimination carefully, identifying the mistake that cost him. Closing his eyes during his own solar flare had created a vulnerability his opponent exploited instantly. The monk incorporated this lesson into his teaching, emphasizing that every action in combat carried risks that warriors must anticipate. Master Roshi's performance inspired older martial artists across Earth, proving age didn't necessarily mean obsolescence. The turtle hermit had contributed meaningfully despite being centuries old and far weaker than younger fighters. His technical skill and experience compensated for physical limitations, showing that wisdom had tactical value. Tien's sacrifice, eliminating multiple invisible fighters, became legendary among Earth's martial artists. His willingness to trade his own elimination for strategic advantage exemplified the selflessness the tournament required. Tien became a symbol of tactical sacrifice, inspiring fighters to think beyond personal glory. Android 18's performance exceeded expectations based on her energy level, her technical skill allowing her to compete against stronger opponents. The android's infinite stamina proved less valuable than anticipated, since eliminations came from positioning rather than exhaustion. 18 learned that endurance alone didn't guarantee success in Battle Royale formats. Frieza's golden form demonstrated remarkable power sustainability despite being newly developed. The Tyrant had trained extensively after his previous resurrection, mastering the transformation that had previously drained his stamina too quickly. Frieza's improvement showed that even powerful beings could grow significantly through dedicated training. The Tyrant's cooperation with Universe 7 raised questions about his character development. Some believed Frieza had softened, that working alongside former enemies had changed him. Others argued he'd simply been pragmatic, recognizing that universal erasure wouldn't benefit him. Frieza's true motivations remained ambiguous, the Emperor keeping his thoughts private. Vegeta's evolution of Super Saiyan Blue during the tournament showcased his unique approach to power. Rather than pursuing new transformations, he perfected existing ones, pushing familiar forms beyond their normal limits. This incremental improvement strategy differed from Goku's tendency to leap toward entirely new transformations. Goku's ability to access Ultra Instinct multiple times suggested he had natural affinity for the technique, despite lacking conscious control. Each activation came through desperate circumstances, his body unlocking the transformation when death seemed certain. Learning to activate Ultra Instinct deliberately became Goku's primary training goal after the tournament. The tournament's 48-minute duration created unique stamina challenges that normal battles didn't feature. Most fights between powerful warriors lasted minutes at most, with both sides exhausting themselves quickly. The extended timeline forced fighters to pace themselves, balancing duration with energy conservation. Some universes had prepared specifically for the marathon format, training their warriors in endurance techniques. Others had focused on raw power, assuming they could eliminate opponents quickly. The endurance-focused teams generally performed better, their sustainable strategies outlasting burst damage approaches. Universe 7's diverse team composition proved more effective than homogeneous teams other universes fielded. Having fighters with different specialties, strengths, and techniques created tactical flexibility that single strategy teams lacked. Goku's last-minute team assembly had accidentally created optimal diversity. The lack of weapons restrictions surprised some fighters who'd trained extensively with equipment. Warriors accustomed to fighting with swords or energy weapons found themselves disadvantaged, their techniques less effective with bare hands. Adaptable fighters adjusted quickly, while specialists struggled to compensate. The no-flying rule forced aerial specialists to develop ground-based techniques. Fighters who relied on aerial mobility found themselves vulnerable on the arena floor, their movement patterns disrupted. Some adapted by using jumps and energy platforms, while others struggled with the restriction throughout the tournament. The prohibition against killing created interesting strategic complications. Fighters accustomed to lethal techniques had to modify their approaches, pulling attacks that would normally be fatal. This restriction particularly affected assassins like Hit, whose profession centered on killing efficiently. Accidental deaths still occurred despite the rule, with some fighters falling to their deaths before anyone could save them. The Grand Priest prevented actual casualties through time manipulation, reversing fatal injuries before they became permanent. This divine intervention meant fighters could battle without restraint regarding lethality. The arena's gradual destruction throughout the tournament created changing battlefield conditions. Early fights occurred on pristine surfaces, while late battles navigated rubble and damaged terrain. This evolution required fighters to adapt continuously, adjusting strategies as the environment deteriorated. Some fighters used environmental destruction strategically, creating rubble to hide behind or collapsing pillars onto opponents. The destructible arena became a weapon itself, with creative combatants exploiting terrain in innovative ways. Universe 7's fighters particularly excelled at environmental manipulation. The tournament's spectator experience differed dramatically based on which universe someone supported. Universe 7's gods experienced terror and relief in cycles as their fighters narrowly avoided elimination. Universe 11's gods watched confidently until their final fighter fell, confident superiority transforming into shocked defeat. Erased Universe's gods experienced brief awareness of their impending erasure before nothingness claimed them. The sensation reportedly resembled falling asleep, consciousness fading gradually rather than stopping abruptly. Upon restoration, they remembered nothing of being erased, perceiving only a momentary gap in awareness. The psychological impact of witnessing multiple universal erasures affected surviving fighters profoundly. Some developed survivor's guilt, questioning why their universe lived while others died. Others felt renewed purpose, believing they'd earned their survival through strength. The tournament's trauma would influence participants for years. Goku's apparent lack of guilt over suggesting the tournament troubled many observers. The Saiyan viewed it as an opportunity to save Universe 7 through fighting, not as mass murder he'd facilitated. His straightforward perspective on the situation contrasted sharply with the horror others felt. Some argued Goku had actually saved the threatened universes, since the Omni Kings would have erased them without the tournament anyway. The competition at least gave mortals a chance to save themselves, whereas immediate erasure offered no hope. This interpretation suggested Goku deserved gratitude rather than blame. Others countered that the Omni Kings might never have acted without Goku's reminder that the universes would have continued existing indefinitely if left alone. This perspective painted Goku as responsible for millions of deaths, his selfish desire for fighting endangering entire universes. The debate continued long after the tournament ended. The truth remained unknowable since only the Omni Kings understood their original intentions. Whether they would have erased universes without the tournament, or if Goku's suggestion actually saved them, couldn't be determined. The ambiguity allowed both interpretations to coexist without resolution. Universe 7's victory inspired celebrations across their realm, though most mortals didn't understand what they were celebrating. Only those connected to the tournament knew the full truth, that existence itself had hung in balance. The Z-Fighters and their families carried knowledge too heavy to share widely. The tournament's conclusion marked a new era in multiverse relations. Universes that had existed in isolation became aware of each other, their warriors having fought alongside and against each other. Some universes established diplomatic relations, while others remained isolated by choice. The Grand Priest encouraged inter-universe cooperation after the tournament, suggesting that higher mortal levels could be achieved through sharing knowledge and resources. Some gods embraced this philosophy, organizing cultural exchanges and joint training programs. Others rejected it, preferring to develop their universes independently. Universe 7 and Universe 6 maintained particularly close relations after the tournament, their twin gods of destruction facilitating cooperation. Warriors from both universes occasionally trained together, sharing techniques and strategies. The friendly rivalry between Champa and Beerus ensured competition remained healthy rather than hostile. Jiren's character development after the tournament fascinated observers who'd viewed him as emotionless and detached. His gradual acceptance of friendship and teamwork demonstrated that even the strongest warriors could grow beyond their limitations. The Pride Troopers welcomed Jiren's increased openness, his participation making their team stronger. Toppo's brief stint as a God of Destruction candidate ended definitively after the tournament. He tasted divine power and found it conflicted with his heroic ideals. Toppo chose to remain a Pride Trooper, believing he could accomplish more good as a hero than as a destroyer. Belmont respected his decision and began searching for alternative candidates. Dispo learned humility through his elimination, recognizing that speed alone couldn't overcome every challenge. The Rabbit Warrior developed more versatile techniques, combining his velocity with tactical thinking. His friendship with Jiren deepened, the speedster becoming one of few people Jiren trusted completely. Hit resumed his assassination career with modified moral standards, the tournament having influenced his perspective on combat. The legendary assassin began refusing contracts against honorable opponents, choosing targets based on character rather than payment. His reputation evolved from ruthless killer to selective enforcer. Caulifla and Kale's friendship became Universe 6's most famous partnership, their combined strength inspiring young Saiyans to train together. The girls demonstrated that teamwork amplified individual power, that friendship made warriors stronger rather than weaker. Their example contradicted traditional Saiyan individualism. Universe 6's Namekians Sayanel and Pirina returned to their planet, where they began training the next generation. Having absorbed all other Namekians, they carried responsibility for their race's future. The pair worked to restore Namekian population while sharing knowledge gained from fusion. The tournament's impact on Earth's non-fighter population proved minimal, as most remained unaware of what had occurred. Governments received vague reports about a cosmic tournament, but dismissed them as unreliable. Only select organizations like the Galactic Patrol understood the full truth. Bulma's technological analysis of the tournament led to several innovations. She developed new training equipment based on observations of how other universes' fighters trained. Her inventions helped Earth's warriors improve more efficiently, accelerating their growth toward godly power levels. Capsule Corporation's reputation grew as word spread about their involvement in saving Universe 7. Business boomed as people associated the company with Earth's defenders. Bulma used increased profits to fund more research, creating a positive feedback loop of innovation. Vegeta's dedication to training intensified after the tournament. The Saiyan prince determined to surpass Goku's achievements. He spent increasing time with Whis, pushing his body to extreme limits. Vegeta's family supported his training despite time demands, understanding that protecting Universe 7 required constant improvement. Goku balanced family life with training more carefully after Chi-Chi's complaints, trying to be more present while still pursuing strength. The Saiyan's attempts at domestic responsibility often proved clumsy, but his sincere effort pleased Chi-Chi. Goku learned that strength included protecting his family's happiness, not just their physical safety. The tournament's lessons about teamwork influenced how Earth's fighters trained together. They began coordinating more frequently, developing combination attacks and strategies. The individualistic approach that had dominated their training for years gave way to more collaborative methods. Gohan organized regular sparring sessions for Universe 7's team, maintaining their coordination in case another crisis arose. The Half Saiyan believed they should prepare for potential future tournaments, not assume the first would be the last. His leadership skills developed through these training sessions. Piccolo's mentorship expanded beyond just Gohan, the Namekian sharing wisdom with other fighters who sought his advice. His tactical expertise made him valuable as a teacher, even for warriors stronger than himself. Piccolo found satisfaction in teaching, a role that suited his contemplative nature. The Oracle Fish's prophecies gained new respect after the tournament proved its predictions accurate. Beerus consulted the fish more frequently, seeking insight into future threats. The Oracle Fish enjoyed its elevated status, though it remained as cryptic as ever. Whis continued training Goku and Vegeta with increased focus on mastering divine techniques. The angel recognized their potential to eventually surpass even gods of destruction, though achieving that level would require decades more training. Whis enjoyed the challenge of teaching warriors who constantly exceeded his expectations. The tournament's impact rippled across the multiverse in ways both obvious and subtle. Some changes manifested immediately, like improved inter-universe relations and motivated warriors. Others would emerge gradually over years, philosophical shifts in how mortals viewed gods and their place in creation. Universe 7's mortal level began rising slowly as Earth's populations strived to improve themselves. News of gods judging mortal quality motivated some people to pursue excellence in their fields. The effect was small but measurable, providing hope that Universe 7 might eventually escape the bottom rankings. Beerus's increased activity as god of destruction paradoxically improved Universe 7's mortal level by removing threatening civilizations. The deity's neglect had allowed dangerous groups to flourish, dragging down the universe's overall quality. Strategic destruction cleared space for better civilizations to develop. The Supreme Kai began working more actively to nurture promising civilizations, his role as creator balancing Beerus's destruction. Shin identified planets with potential and provided subtle guidance, encouraging their development along productive paths. His efforts complemented Beerus' work, the creator and destroyer finally functioning as intended. The Galactic Patrol expanded their operations after learning about universal stakes, their peacekeeping mission taking on cosmic significance. Jaco recruited more officers and upgraded their technology, preparing to handle threats beyond individual planets. The patrol became a bridge between mortal affairs and divine oversight. Chi-Chi's fears about Goku's safety never fully abated despite his reassurances. She'd learned that cosmic threats kept escalating, that each victory just led to stronger enemies. Her worries stemmed from love rather than weakness, understanding that even the strongest warrior could fall. Vegeta's family dynamic shifted subtly after the tournament, with Bulma and the children showing more appreciation for his strength. They'd always known Vegeta was powerful, but understanding he'd fought to prevent universal erasure gave new context. Trunks and Bulla trained more seriously, inspired by their father's example. Goten grew concerned about being left behind as his father and brother pursued godly power. The young Saiyan had neglected training during peacetime. his strength stagnating while others grew. Goten began training more seriously, determined to close the gap before the next crisis arose. Trunks trained alongside Goten, the two half-Saiyans pushing each other like their fathers had done. Their friendship made training enjoyable rather than purely functional, blending power development with genuine fun. The boys developed fusion techniques, their combined form accessing strength beyond individual capabilities. Pan's early training showed remarkable promise, the quarter Saiyan inheriting Goku and Gohan's natural talent. Her development at a young age suggested she might eventually surpass previous generations. Gohan and Videl carefully balanced her training with normal childhood, wanting her to have options beyond just fighting. The Tournament of Power's legacy extended beyond immediate participants to inspire future generations. Children hearing stories about the tournament decided to become martial artists, hoping to one day defend their universe. Dojos across Earth experienced increased enrollment as combat training became fashionable. Some philosophical schools emerged studying the tournament's ethical implications. Scholars debated whether the Omni King's actions constituted justice or tyranny, whether gods should judge mortals at all. These debates produced no definitive answers, but encouraged deep thinking about divine authority. Religious movements formed around the tournament, some worshipping the Omni Kings while others rejected divine authority entirely. The confirmed existence of gods who could erase universes challenged many belief systems. Earth's religious landscape fragmented as different groups processed the revelation differently. Most people dismissed the tournament as elaborate fiction, unable to accept that gods casually erased universes. The comfortable lie of normalcy proved more appealing than terrifying truth. Only those who'd witnessed divine power firsthand truly believed. The tournament marked a turning point in Dragon Ball's narrative, shifting focus from individual power to cosmic stakes. Future threats would likely involve multiple universes, requiring cooperation on scales previously unimaginable. The relatively simple days of defending Earth from singular villains had ended. Goku viewed the tournament as proof that stronger opponents existed everywhere, waiting to be fought. The Saiyan's love of combat found validation in a multiverse filled with powerful warriors. His desire to fight everyone motivated continued training, ensuring he'd be ready when opportunities arose. Vegeta saw the tournament as evidence that Saiyans could stand among gods through dedication alone. His pride swelled knowing that mortals, particularly Saiyans, had proven themselves in divine arenas. Vegeta's confidence in his race's potential grew, motivating him to push Saiyan limits even further. The tournament's 48 minutes had contained more consequential battles than most beings experienced in entire lifetimes. Warriors had faced impossible odds, formed unlikely alliances, and pushed beyond all previous limitations. The event would be remembered as the greatest martial arts tournament in multiverse history. Android 17's quiet heroism, saving all universes with his selfless wish, demonstrated that strength of character mattered as much as physical power. His tactical thinking and moral integrity had proven more valuable than raw fighting ability. The android became Universe 7's unexpected hero, remembered for wisdom rather than just strength. The restored universes viewed Universe 7 with mixed feelings after learning what had transpired. Gratitude for restoration competed with resentment over being erased in the first place. Some blamed Goku for suggesting the tournament, while others thanked Android 17 for the merciful wish. Universal politics became complex. The tournament established that multiversal competitions were possible and might occur again. Warriors across all universes began preparing for potential future tournaments, not wanting to be caught unprepared. Training methods evolved to address Battle Royale formats specifically. The Grand Priest's role as tournament organizer made him a figure of curiosity and subtle fear. His power to orchestrate events involving multiple universes demonstrated authority beyond even gods of destruction. Wise beings treated the Grand Priest with extreme respect, recognizing his proximity to the Omni Kings made him dangerous. Xeno's guards discussed among themselves whether the tournament had achieved its stated purpose, had it actually tested mortal quality, or simply provided entertainment? The philosophical question remained unanswered, as the Omni Kings never explained their true motivations beyond boredom. The angels compared notes on how their respective universes had performed, analyzing what factors led to success or failure. Universe 7's victory, despite low mortal levels, intrigued them. The angels concluded that team diversity and adaptability mattered more than individual power maximums. The world of Void itself held mysteries that few participants noticed during the tournament's chaos. This realm existed outside normal space and time, a pocket dimension created specifically for the competition. The Grand Priest had constructed it using angelic powers beyond mortal comprehension, shaping nothingness into a functional arena. The Void's properties defied conventional physics in ways that affected combat subtly. Energy attacks behaved differently here than in normal universes, dissipating slower or faster depending on their nature. Some fighters adapted to these changes naturally, while others struggled with techniques that performed unexpectedly. Temperature didn't exist in the Void in any measurable sense, yet fighters felt neither hot nor cold. The absence of environmental factors meant combatants could focus entirely on fighting without weather or terrain complications. This neutrality theoretically created fair conditions, though it also meant fighters couldn't exploit environmental advantages they'd trained to use. Sound propagated strangely through the Void, with some noises traveling clearly while others vanished completely. Warriors shouting across the arena found their voices carrying impossibly far, or not at all. The inconsistent acoustics added disorientation to battles, making verbal coordination between teammates unreliable. Gravity in the world of Void came entirely from the arena itself, a field generated by the platform's construction. Beyond the arena's edge existed true weightlessness, an endless fall through nothing. Eliminated fighters experienced brief moments of zero gravity before angels teleported them to spectator stands. The spectator platforms maintained separate gravitational fields, allowing gods and angels to sit comfortably while watching. These viewing areas floated at various heights around the arena, providing optimal angles for observing specific battles. Each universe's section included comfortable seating and protective barriers. The barriers prevented overeager spectators from interfering with combat, as some gods of destruction wanted to personally intervene when their warriors struggled. Beerus particularly chafed at being forced to watch passively while Universe 7 faced elimination. The barriers held firm against even divine tantrums. Communication between spectator sections proved difficult due to the Void's acoustic properties. Gods could shout at rivals from other universes, but responses might not carry back clearly. The Grand Priest maintained communication channels for official announcements, ensuring all spectators heard important information. The 48-minute time limit appeared simultaneously in all spectator sections and above the arena itself. The timer counted down inexorably, each second removing options and increasing pressure. Fighters developed strange relationships with the clock, some checking it constantly while others tried to ignore it completely. The timer's presence psychologically affected different warriors in varying ways. Some felt motivated by the deadline, fighting more aggressively as time dwindled. Others experienced mounting panic, their performance degrading as elimination grew more likely. Mental fortitude proved as important as physical strength. Universe 7's fighters adapted to time pressure better than most, their experience with world-ending threats teaching them to function under stress. Earth's warriors had repeatedly saved their planet with minutes or seconds remaining, making tournament pressure feel almost familiar. This experience advantage helped compensate for their lower power levels. Goku specifically thrived under pressure, his Saiyan biology making him stronger during desperate situations. The closer he came to defeat, the harder he fought, his body accessing reserves normally unavailable. This trait allowed him to achieve Ultra Instinct when death seemed certain. Vegeta's response to pressure differed from Goku's, the prince becoming more focused rather than more desperate. Stress clarified Vegeta's thinking, burning away doubt and hesitation. His performance actually improved as the tournament progressed, experience and determination overcoming fatigue. Gohan struggled more with the tournament's pressure, his peaceful nature conflicting with the desperate combat required. The half Saiyan fought best when protecting others, finding motivation in his teammates' safety rather than personal survival. Gohan's selflessness made him valuable but also vulnerable. Piccolo remained calm throughout the tournament, his Namekian meditation training allowing him to maintain composure under any circumstances. The warrior's emotional control made him reliable, his performance consistent regardless of pressure. Piccolo served as Universe 7's anchor, providing stability when others panicked. Android 17's infinite energy meant he never experienced physical fatigue, but mental exhaustion still affected him. The android's tactical thinking remained sharp throughout the tournament, his ability to analyze situations never degrading. This cognitive endurance proved crucial during the final stages. Android 18's performance remained steady but unspectacular, her strength sufficient for mid-tier opponents but inadequate against universe-destroying threats. The android fought intelligently, avoiding unnecessary risks and focusing on achievable eliminations. Her pragmatic approach kept her alive longer than stronger but reckless fighters. Krillin's early elimination denied him opportunity to showcase the strategic thinking Gohan had valued when recruiting him. The monk's tactical genius would have proven valuable during later stages, but his moment of weakness ended his participation prematurely. Krillin's elimination became a lesson about maintaining awareness constantly. Master Roshi defied expectations throughout his tournament participation, the ancient martial artist contributing far beyond what his power levels suggested possible. His technical mastery and centuries of experience created opportunities that raw strength alone couldn't achieve. Roshi proved that wisdom and skill remained valuable regardless of age. Tien Shin Han's sacrifice eliminating invisible fighters demonstrated the value of selflessness in team combat. His willingness to trade personal elimination for strategic advantage exemplified the mentality required for tournament success. Individual glory mattered less than team survival. Frieza's participation created constant tension within Universe 7's team, nobody truly trusting the tyrant despite his cooperation. The Emperor's history of genocide and betrayal made genuine alliance impossible, even when facing universal erasure. Frieza fought for Universe 7 because it benefited him not from any loyalty or moral reform. The tyrant's golden form showcased his growth since the resurrection before the Universe 6 tournament. Frieza had trained seriously for the first time in his life, developing control and endurance that his previous overwhelming power had made unnecessary. The Emperor had learned that even natural talent required cultivation. Frieza's intelligence made him valuable beyond just fighting ability, his tactical mind identifying opportunities others missed. The tyrant manipulated battles to his advantage, positioning himself favorably while letting others take risks. His selfishness actually helped Universe 7 at times, since Frieza wanted to survive as much as anyone. The dynamic between Frieza and Goku during the tournament fascinated observers, enemies cooperating seamlessly when necessary, but never forgetting their enmity. Their teamwork came from mutual respect rather than friendship, warriors acknowledging each other's strength while despising each other personally. This professional relationship proved surprisingly effective. Vegeta refused to work directly with Frieza except under extreme circumstances, the Saiyan prince's hatred of the tyrant running too deep for cooperation. Frieza had murdered Vegeta's father and destroyed planet Vegeta, crimes the prince could never forgive. Their mutual loathing added tension to every interaction. The tournament structure prevented traditional villain behavior, as betraying teammates meant dooming oneself to erasure. Frieza couldn't afford treachery during the competition, his survival depending on Universe 7's victory. This forced cooperation created unusual dynamics where normally incompatible personalities worked together. Universe 11's Pride Troopers embodied a completely different team philosophy from Universe 7's reluctant alliance. The heroes had trained together for years, Their teamwork refined through countless missions, their coordination and mutual trust initially gave them significant advantages. Jiren's isolation within the Pride Troopers created subtle weakness in their otherwise cohesive team. The strongest member fought alone, neither coordinating with teammates nor requiring assistance. This individualism worked while Jiren dominated, but became problematic when he finally faced opponents who could match him. Toppo struggled with balancing his leadership role against Jiren's superior strength. The Pride Trooper commander wanted to direct strategy, but deferred to Jiren's judgment out of respect for his power. This unclear hierarchy occasionally created confusion about who made tactical decisions. Dispo's loyalty to both Toppo and Jiren sometimes conflicted, the speedster trying to support both warriors simultaneously. His position as bridge between the leader and the strongest member made Dispo valuable but stressed. The Rabbit Warrior handled diplomatic duties alongside combat responsibilities. Universe 11's other Pride Troopers fought bravely but lacked the power to compete against top-tier opponents from other universes. Their eliminations came early, leaving the core trio to carry their universe's hopes. The disparity between their strongest and weakest members created strategic vulnerabilities. Universe 6's team dynamics centered on relationships between specific pairs rather than overall cohesion. Hit operated independently, the assassin neither seeking nor offering assistance. Caulifla and Kale fought together exclusively, their partnership strong but insular. The Namekians coordinated with each other but not other teammates. This fragmented approach worked adequately during the tournament's early stages, when numerous opponents allowed specialized pairs to find appropriate matchups. As the competition progressed and opponents became scarcer, Universe 6's lack of overall coordination handicapped them. They couldn't form larger alliances when situations required it. Hit's individualism stemmed from his profession as an assassin, his entire life spent working alone. The legendary killer had never developed teamwork skills, his missions always solo operations. This made him incredibly dangerous one-on-one but limited his effectiveness in group combat scenarios. Caulifla and Kale's tight partnership initially seemed like strength, but became a limitation when separated. Kale particularly struggled when fighting alone, her confidence dependent on Caulifla's presence. This psychological vulnerability created tactical weaknesses opponents could exploit. The Universe 6 Namekians functioned as a single unit despite being two individuals, their fusion creating perfect coordination. However, they rarely interacted with non-Namekian teammates, cultural differences or personal preference keeping them isolated. This self-imposed separation reduced their team's overall flexibility. Universe 2's magical girl theme created cohesive aesthetics but limited tactical diversity. Every warrior emphasized transformation and love-powered attacks, making their strategies predictable. Opponents quickly learned to counter their specific fighting style, accelerating Universe 2's elimination. Ribrianne's leadership focused on inspiration and morale rather than tactical planning. The magical girl leader believed in the power of love to overcome any obstacle, a philosophy that motivated teammates but lacked practical strategy. Her emotional speeches boosted confidence without providing actual combat advantages. Universe 2's elimination occurred largely because they prioritized beauty and romance over pragmatic combat effectiveness. Their attacks looked spectacular, but lacked the efficient brutality other universes employed. Aesthetic concerns shouldn't dominate life or death battles. Universe 3's robotic warriors and fusion strategy represented unique tactical innovation. Their ability to combine into more powerful forms gave them flexibility other universes lacked. However, the fusion process required time and coordination, creating vulnerability during transitions. Anilaza represented Universe 3's ultimate strategy, merging multiple warriors into a giant construct with god-level power. The fusion demonstrated remarkable engineering, but contained critical weaknesses. Its defeat came through identifying and exploiting the central core that synchronized the multiple components. Universe 4's deception-based strategy nearly succeeded through invisible fighters and psychological manipulation. Their approach targeted mental weaknesses rather than physical ones, creating paranoia and confusion among opponents. The strategy worked until adversaries developed counter-tactics. Quitella's philosophy that cunning surpassed strength influenced Universe 4's entire fighting approach. Every warrior specialized in trickery, illusions, or surprise attacks. This created a team effective at ambush, but vulnerable in direct confrontation once their tricks were revealed. Universe 9 entered the tournament knowing they faced overwhelming odds, their low mortal level reflecting genuine weakness. The trio of Danger and their teammates fought with desperate courage, but lacked power to overcome stronger opponents. Their quick elimination surprised nobody. Universe 9's erasure first demonstrated that the Omni Kings would genuinely eliminate losers without mercy. The casual finality of their destruction shocked everyone, transforming the tournament from competition into survival horror. Witnessing an entire universe vanish changed how warriors approached subsequent battles. Universe 10's warriors fought with honor and dignity despite facing superior opponents. Their commitment to noble combat sometimes handicapped them, as they refused tactics other universes employed freely. This self-imposed limitation reflected Universe 10's cultural values. Obuni exemplified Universe 10's philosophy, fighting Gohan with respect and technique rather than deception or brutality. His meditation-enhanced combat style showcased spiritual development alongside physical training. Obuni's defeat came honorably, accepting elimination without complaint. Universe 10's elimination occurred while their warriors still fought bravely, the Omni Kings erasing them mid-battle. This sudden erasure mid-combat traumatized fighters who witnessed it, the arbitrary timing making survival feel random. Warriors couldn't even die with dignity completing their final battle. The tournament's aftermath saw various universes processing trauma differently. Some developed PTSD from witnessing erasures and facing death, while others celebrated survival without dwelling on losses. Cultural attitudes toward mortality influenced how different civilizations recovered. Universe 7's defenders carried guilt over being the only universe whose victory was mandatory. Every other universe had fought knowing they might lose, but Universe 7's suggested tournament made their survival feel obligatory. This pressure created additional stress beyond normal combat concerns. Goku specifically received blame from some quarters for suggesting the tournament, making him responsible for millions of deaths. The Saiyan struggled to understand this perspective, viewing the tournament as opportunity rather than disaster. His inability to process others' trauma frustrated those seeking empathy. Whis eventually explained to Goku that while the tournament had given universes a chance to save themselves, it had also forced them to fight for survival when they might have continued existing peacefully. This nuanced perspective helped Goku understand why some beings viewed him negatively despite his good intentions. Beerus defended Goku publicly while privately agreeing he'd been reckless. The god of destruction recognized that Goku's suggestion had created the crisis, but also provided the solution. Without the tournament, the Omni Kings might have simply erased universes immediately, giving no one any chance. Supreme Kai-Shin viewed the tournament as a wake-up call that gods needed to take their responsibilities seriously. The young deity had neglected universe management, assuming peace would maintain itself. The near erasure motivated him to actively nurture civilizations and improve Universe 7's mortal level. The Oracle Fish's prophecy about Universe 7 facing the greatest crisis in history had proven accurate. The tournament represented existential threat beyond anything previous enemies had posed. Even Majin Buu's potential to destroy the universe paled compared to certain erasure from the Omni Kings. Beerus's relationship with the Oracle Fish improved after this prophecy proved true, the god of destruction taking future predictions more seriously. The fish's ability to foresee cosmic events made it valuable beyond simple amusement. Beerus began consulting it about potential threats before they materialized. The Grand Priest's role orchestrating the tournament revealed his position as the multiverse's true second-in-command below only the Omni-Kings. His power to organize events involving all universes simultaneously demonstrated authority beyond any individual god of destruction. The angels answered to him, making the Grand Priest effectively the most powerful being in creation aside from Zeno. Speculation circulated about whether the Grand Priest could actually challenge the Omni-Kings if he chose. His combat abilities remained unknown, never demonstrated publicly. Most assumed he possessed power rivaling or exceeding gods of destruction, though he'd never need to use it given his position. The angel's loyalty to the Grand Priest appeared absolute, none questioning his decisions or authority. This unified command structure allowed him to coordinate complex operations, like the tournament, efficiently. The angels functioned as his hands throughout the multiverse. Whis' respect for his father, the Grand Priest, influenced how he trained Goku and Vegeta. The angel passed down techniques and philosophy learned from the multiverse's strongest being. This connection to ultimate authority gave Whis' teaching special legitimacy. Vados, Whis' sister, and Champa's attendant shared similar training from the Grand Priest. The sibling rivalry between angels mirrored their gods of destruction, though more subtly expressed. Vados and Whis constantly competed to prove superior teaching ability through their students' achievements. The Tournament of Power became the ultimate test of which Angel had trained their god of destruction and universe better. Though neither Beerus nor Champa participated directly, their universe's performances reflected on their angel's teaching quality. Universe 7's victories suggested Whis' methods proved more effective. This created good-natured competition between the siblings, both claiming their teaching deserved credit for the outcome. Vados argued that Universe 6 would have won if Champa had actually destroyed dangerous civilizations properly, while Whis countered that Universe 7's diverse team reflected his balanced training philosophy. The other angels observed the tournament with professional interest, analyzing techniques and strategies for future reference. They shared observations during breaks, discussing what worked and why. These divine beings learned from watching mortals push themselves beyond normal limitations. Margarita, Universe 11's angel, took particular interest in Jiren's eventual defeat. Her student had come closest to victory before falling, making the loss especially educational. Margarita analyzed what factors allowed Universe 7 to overcome Jiren's superior individual strength. She concluded that Universe 7's victory came from better tactical coordination and willingness to sacrifice individual glory for team success. Jiren's isolation had been his downfall, his refusal to trust teammates leaving him vulnerable when facing multiple coordinated opponents. Margarita resolved to teach Belmont and the Pride Troopers about balance between individual power and teamwork. Belmont himself processed the tournament's outcome with mixed emotions. Pride in his warrior's performance competed with disappointment over ultimate failure. The god of destruction recognized that his universe had come closer to victory than any other, making defeat especially bitter. The relationship between Belmont and Jiren deepened after the tournament, the deity understanding his strongest warrior better. Jiren's confession about wanting to resurrect his master revealed vulnerability the god of destruction hadn't suspected. Belmont began trying to become the mentor figure Jiren had lost, filling that emotional void. Jiren initially resisted Belmont's increased attention, uncomfortable with the god of destruction's paternal approach. However, the Pride Trooper gradually accepted that accepting help wasn't weakness. His master had wanted him to learn this lesson, and losing the tournament finally made it clear. The Pride Troopers welcomed Jiren's emotional growth, his increased openness making him easier to work with. Toppo particularly appreciated having Jiren participate more in team planning. The group's cohesion improved significantly in the tournament's aftermath. Dispo noticed the changes in Jiren most clearly, the speedster being closest to the strongest Pride Trooper. Their friendship developed beyond mere teammates, Jiren confiding doubts and fears he'd never shared before. Dispo treasured this trust, working to prove himself worthy of it. Universe 11's mortal level remained high. Despite their tournament loss, their societies focus on justice and heroism, creating stable civilization. The Pride Troopers continued protecting their universe, their mission unchanged by the cosmic competition. If anything, the tournament reinforced why their work mattered. Universe 6's restoration brought Champa and his warriors back from non-existence, though they remembered nothing of being erased. Hit resumed his assassination work immediately, the legendary killer treating the tournament as just another completed job. His professional detachment prevented emotional processing of near-permanent death. Caulifla and Kale returned to their lives with renewed determination to grow stronger. The tournament had shown them how far they still had to develop, how many powerful opponents existed. The young Saiyans trained obsessively, trying to achieve transformations beyond Super Saiyan 2. Kaba, Universe 6's other Saiyan, felt guilty about being eliminated relatively early. He'd wanted to prove Saiyan's strength, but failed to match Caulifla's rapid development. Kaba threw himself into training, determined to achieve Super Saiyan 3 before their next meeting with Universe 7. The Universe 6 Namekians returned to their planet, where they began the slow process of rebuilding their population. Having absorbed all other Namekians, Sayonel and Pirina carried responsibility for their species' future. They worked to birth new Namekians while preserving knowledge gained through fusion. Champa's relationship with Vados remained unchanged by near erasure, the god of destruction as lazy and food-obsessed as ever. However, he did acknowledge Universe 7's warriors had fought well, giving grudging respect to the rival universe. Champa began planning how Universe 6 could win if another tournament occurred. Universe 2's Ribrianne and her magical girl team resumed spreading love and beauty throughout their realm. The tournament's brutality hadn't diminished their faith in love's power, instead reinforcing their mission. They viewed survival as proof that love conquered even universal erasure. Halis, Universe 2's god of destruction, continued valuing aesthetics over pragmatic compatibility. The deity believed beauty justified existence regardless of tournament outcomes. Her philosophy hadn't changed despite near erasure, suggesting either remarkable consistency or stubborn refusal to learn. Universe 3's robotic warriors returned to their technological development, analyzing their tournament performance for engineering improvements. The mechanical beings viewed defeat as data, information to incorporate into better designs. Emotion played minimal role in their processing of events. Moscow, Universe 3's god of destruction, initiated projects to create more powerful fusion constructs. The deity recognized that Anilaza had nearly succeeded, suggesting the strategy was sound but execution flawed. Improved versions might perform better in future competitions. Universe 4's invisible fighters resumed their deceptive practices, their tournament elimination not discouraging their preferred tactics. Quitella maintained his philosophy that cunning mattered more than strength, interpreting their loss as bad luck rather than strategic failure. The god of destruction began developing even more elaborate deception techniques. Universe 9's restoration brought back billions of beings who'd been completely erased. They remembered nothing of non-existence, perceiving no gap in their lives. The universe resumed exactly where it had stopped, as if the erasure had never occurred. Sidra, Universe 9's god of destruction, felt profound relief at being restored. The deity had genuinely believed himself and his universe were gone forever. Sidra resolved to improve Universe 9's mortal level, terrified of facing another tournament. The trio of danger returned to their activities, the canine brothers, unaware they'd been erased and restored. Their lives continued normally, the cosmic crisis passing them by completely. This ignorance perhaps represented mercy, sparing them trauma of knowing they'd ceased to exist. Universe 10's warriors resumed their honorable pursuits, their noble philosophies unchanged by brief erasure. Obuni continued his meditation practice, seeking enlightenment through martial arts. The tournament had tested his principles without breaking them. Rumshi, Universe 10's god of destruction, took pride in how his warriors had maintained dignity despite defeat. The deity valued honor over victory, believing his universe had represented itself well. This perspective helped Universe 10 process their loss positively. The four exempt universes watched the tournament's conclusion with interest, their high mortal levels protecting them from participation. Universe 1's Angel and God of Destruction discussed what lessons could be learned from observing lower universes compete. Universe 12 maintained its position as second highest mortal level, their advanced civilization continuing to develop. The tournament reminded them that complacency could be dangerous, that today's safe position might not last forever. Universe 5 focused on spiritual development, their high mortal level coming from enlightened populations rather than technological advancement. They viewed the tournament as validation that pursuing inner peace created stronger civilizations than pursuing power. Universe 8's God of Destruction Liquier watched his exempted universe with satisfaction, pleased that his work maintaining balance had created a high mortal level. The tournament motivated him to maintain standards, preventing decline that might endanger future safety. The tournament of power's ripple effects would continue for generations, influencing how beings across all universes viewed their existence. The knowledge that gods judged mortal quality created pressure to improve, motivation to build better societies. Some universes used the tournament as inspiration, holding their own competitions to identify and train strong warriors. These local tournaments couldn't match the original stakes, but they served to prepare fighters for potential future cosmic competitions. Martial arts schools across multiple universes reported increased enrollment after the tournament, young beings wanting to train like the warriors they'd heard about. The Tournament of Power inspired a generation to pursue strength and skill. The philosophical implications of the tournament sparked debates among scholars and warriors alike. Questions arose about whether the Omni-Kings had the moral right to judge entire universes, whether any being possessed authority to decide which civilizations deserved existence. These debates produced no consensus, but encouraged deep thinking about power and responsibility. Some argued that the Omni-King's absolute authority made morality irrelevant, that beings with power to create and destroy universes couldn't be judged by mortal standards. This perspective suggested accepting divine will without question, trusting that gods understood matters beyond mortal comprehension. Others contended that power alone didn't justify exercising it arbitrarily, that even gods should follow ethical principles. This view held that erasing universes for entertainment constituted evil regardless of who performed it. The tension between these perspectives created ongoing philosophical friction. Goku's perspective on the matter remained characteristically simple. He viewed the tournament as an opportunity to fight strong opponents and save his universe simultaneously. The Saiyan didn't waste time debating morality when action seemed more productive. His pragmatic approach frustrated those seeking deeper engagement with ethical questions. Vegeta shared Goku's practical outlook, but for different reasons. The Saiyan prince believed strength determined everything, that the Omni-King's power gave them the right to do whatever they wished. Vegeta respected absolute power, even when wielded capriciously. His philosophy aligned more with traditional Saiyan values than Earth's moral framework. Gohan struggled with the tournament's ethical dimensions more than the other Saiyans. His academic background encouraged him to analyze situations from multiple perspectives, considering implications beyond immediate survival. Gohan recognized that the tournament had been unjust, but acknowledged fighting was the only option available. Piccolo's Namekian philosophy emphasized balance and harmony, making the tournament's brutality difficult to accept. However, the warrior recognized that idealism sometimes required compromise when facing reality. Piccolo chose to fight for Universe 7 while privately disagreeing with the system that forced such choices. The tournament revealed information about universe structure that mortals had never known before. The existence of 12 universes, paired symmetrically around the central axis, suggested deliberate design rather than random creation. This organization implied purpose behind creation itself. Universe 7's pairing with Universe 6 created interesting parallels and differences. Both contained Earth, Saiyans, and Namekians, but developed differently. These similarities suggested universes followed templates with variations, like alternate timelines diverging from common origins. The concept of mortal levels as measurable metrics fascinated scholars trying to understand what criteria gods used for judgment. The exact formula remained secret, known only to angels and higher beings. Speculations suggested factors included technological advancement, cultural sophistication, ethical development, and probably variables mortals couldn't conceive. Universe 7's low mortal level embarrassed its inhabitants once they understood the ranking system. Being second worst among all universes suggested serious problems with their civilization's development. This ranking motivated improvement but also created defensiveness about perceived failures. Beerus bore significant responsibility for Universe 7's low ranking, his centuries of neglect allowing dangerous civilizations to flourish unchecked. The god of destruction had prioritized personal enjoyment over cosmic duties, sleeping through eons when he should have been actively managing universal balance. The tournament forced Beerus to confront consequences of his laziness. His universe had nearly been erased because he couldn't be bothered to do his job properly. This wake-up call motivated behavioral changes, though old habits died hard for a deity millions of years old. Whis had tried repeatedly to encourage Beerus toward more active destruction work, but the angel couldn't directly command his god. The relationship between angels and gods of destruction involved guidance rather than control, with angels offering advice that gods could ignore. This structure created situations where lazy gods endangered their universes through neglect. The Supreme Kai's role in Universe 7's low mortal level also proved significant. As creator deity, Shin should have been nurturing promising civilizations and guiding development. Instead, the young god had taken a hands-off approach, assuming mortals would improve themselves without divine intervention. The partnership between destroyer and creator required both deities fulfilling their responsibilities for optimal universal health. Beerus should destroy threats and stagnant civilizations, while Shin nurtured growth and potential. Their mutual neglect created the perfect conditions for declining mortal levels. After the tournament, both deities committed to more active involvement in universal management. Beerus began identifying civilizations that needed destruction, while Shin sought promising planets to nurture. Their increased coordination slowly improved Universe 7's mortal level, though progress came gradually. The Oracle Fish observed these changes with satisfaction, its prophecies pushing Universe 7 toward improvement. The fish had foreseen the crisis, and survivors, its predictions helping prepare Beerus for what was coming. The god of destruction's increased respect for the Oracle Fish's insights made it more influential in decision-making. Universe 7's improved coordination between divine authorities inspired other universes to examine their own management structures. Some discovered similar neglect problems, while others found their systems already functioning optimally. The tournament served as universal audit, revealing systemic issues that needed addressing. The Grand Priest compiled detailed reports on each universe's performance, analyzing what factors contributed to success or failure. These reports would guide future divine training and policy adjustments. The angels studied them carefully, learning how to better guide their gods of destruction. Whis shared insights from the reports with Goku and Vegeta during training sessions, explaining how divine politics affected mortal lives. The Saiyans gained appreciation for the complex systems governing universal management, understanding that their fighting existed within larger cosmic contexts. The tournament's Battle Royale format created unique strategic challenges that traditional one-on-one tournaments didn't feature. Fighters needed to track multiple opponents simultaneously, identify threats, and coordinate with teammates while managing their own stamina. This complexity rewarded adaptability and tactical thinking over pure power. Universe 7's victory came partly from their fighters' experience with chaotic multi-opponent battles. Earth's defenders had frequently faced situations where enemies attacked from all directions simultaneously. This experience translated well to the tournament's format, giving them advantages over warriors trained primarily for duels. Goku specifically excelled in chaotic combat environments, his fighting instincts allowing him to track threats without conscious thought. The Saiyan processed battlefield information faster than most beings, his mind identifying patterns and opportunities almost instantaneously. This skill made him valuable beyond just his raw power. Vegeta approached multi-opponent combat differently, using calculated aggression to control engagement ranges. The prince eliminated threats methodically, ensuring he never faced more simultaneous opponents than he could handle. His disciplined fighting style prevented the overwhelming situations that destroyed less careful warriors. Gohan's tactical coordination proved invaluable for organizing Universe 7's team efforts. The Half Saiyan recognized how different fighters' abilities could combine for greater effectiveness. His leadership helped prevent the isolation that doomed many strong fighters from other universes. Piccolo's battlefield awareness complemented Gohan's tactical planning, the Namekian's sharp eyes catching details others missed. His ability to stretch and observe from multiple angles simultaneously gave Universe 7 superior information about enemy positions and movements. This reconnaissance capability prevented ambushes and identified opportunities. Android 17's infinite energy and barrier techniques made him the tournament's ultimate defensive specialist. While others tired from sustained combat, 17 maintained peak performance throughout all 48 minutes. His endurance allowed him to outlast technically superior opponents who exhausted themselves earlier. The android's tactical thinking matured significantly during the tournament, combat experience teaching him lessons that peacetime ranger work couldn't provide. 17 learned to predict opponent behavior, identify weaknesses quickly, and exploit opportunities ruthlessly. His growth from defender of animals to cosmic warrior seemed improbable but proved genuine. Android 18's elimination earlier than her brother highlighted how small mistakes could snowball in battle royale formats. A single moment of carelessness created vulnerability that opponents exploited immediately. The unforgiving nature of the tournament punished errors that might be recoverable in traditional duels. Krillin's elimination demonstrated the same principle, his tactical error with the solar flare creating the opening that eliminated him. The monk's vast experience couldn't compensate for that one mistake, showing that even veterans remained vulnerable to momentary lapses. Master Roshi's longevity in the tournament, despite obvious physical limitations, proved that technique and experience could compensate for raw power deficits. The Turtle Hermit understood combat fundamentals better than warriors, decades younger and far stronger. His elimination came from exhaustion rather than being outmatched technically. Tien Shinhan's self-sacrifice exemplified the team-first mentality required for battle royale success. His willingness to eliminate himself while removing multiple opponents demonstrated understanding that individual survival mattered less than team advantage. This selflessness contrasted sharply with the individualism many fighters displayed. Frieza's performance showed how intelligence and tactical thinking could multiply the effectiveness of raw power. The tyrant positioned himself advantageously, let others take unnecessary risks, and struck when opponents were vulnerable. His selfish approach to team combat paradoxically helped Universe 7 by keeping their strongest supplementary fighter alive. The Emperor's teamwork with Goku during the final assault on Jiren represented character development for both warriors. Frieza suppressed his hatred enough to cooperate genuinely, while Goku trusted an enemy with their universe's survival. Their ability to work together despite mutual loathing showed remarkable emotional maturity. Universe 11's ultimate defeat came partly from Jiren's refusal to accept help until too late. The Pride Trooper's isolation meant he faced Universe 7's remaining fighters alone, overwhelming numbers eventually overcoming his superior individual strength. Had Jiren coordinated with Toppo and Dispo earlier, Universe 11 might have won. Toppo's transformation into a god of destruction candidate showcased the power available to those willing to abandon their principles. His brief use of destruction energy made him incredibly dangerous, nearly eliminating several Universe 7 fighters. However, Toppo's hesitation about fully embracing destruction philosophy limited how effectively he wielded that power. Vegeta's defeat of Toppo represented philosophical victory as much as physical one. The Saiyan prince argued that abandoning principles to gain power represented weakness rather than strength. Vegeta maintained his pride while fighting, refusing to compromise his identity for temporary advantage. This conviction fueled the Super Saiyan Blue evolution transformation that overcame Toppo's destruction energy. Dispo's speed made him incredibly dangerous in the Battle Royale format, allowing him to strike vulnerable opponents and escape before retaliation. However, his one-dimensional fighting style created predictability that tactical fighters like Android 17 could exploit. Speed alone couldn't compensate for lack of versatility. The elimination of Universe 11's other Pride Troopers early in the tournament left their strongest trio unsupported during crucial moments. Had more teammates survived to the final stages, they could have prevented Universe 7 from coordinating the combined attacks that eventually defeated Jiren. Team depth mattered as much as individual peaks. Universe 6's elimination hurt Universe 7 spectators emotionally. As Champa and his fighters had become familiar through previous interactions, Vados maintained professional composure as her universe faced erasure, but her sadness showed through subtle facial expressions. The erasure of someone's twin brother created profound loss even for divine beings. Hit's elimination came with characteristic professionalism, the assassin accepting defeat without complaint or excuses. He'd fought well, eliminated several opponents, and ultimately been outmatched by Jiren's overwhelming power. Hit treated universal erasure like a failed contract, an unfortunate outcome but not worth emotional distress. Caulifla and Kale's fusion into Kefla represented Universe 6's last desperate gamble to defeat Goku and shift momentum. The fused Saiyan's incredible power nearly succeeded, pushing Goku to his limits and beyond. Kefla's defeat required Goku accessing Mastered Ultra Instinct, showing how dangerous she was. The Potara fusion's time limit worked against Kefla, as the incredible power output drained the fusion's duration faster than normal. Had Kefla managed to survive a few more minutes, the diffusion might have occurred naturally, restoring Caulifla and Kale as separate fighters. The mathematics of fusion strategy added complexity to decision-making. Universe 6's Namekians fought valiantly against Gohan and Piccolo, their fused power matching Universe 7's father-son team. The battle between Namekian warriors showcased techniques unique to their species, abilities that Saiyans and humans couldn't replicate. Piccolo particularly enjoyed fighting opponents who understood Namekian culture and combat philosophy. The Universe 6 Namekians' defeat came from slightly less combat experience rather than power differential. Piccolo had fought countless battles over decades, while Sayanel and Pirina had lived relatively peaceful lives before the tournament. This experience gap made the difference in their closely matched contest. Universe 2's Magical Girl team brought unexpected toughness to the tournament, their transformations granting durability that allowed them to survive longer than expected. Ribrianne particularly proved difficult to eliminate, her love-powered defenses absorbing tremendous damage. Universe 2's elimination required sustained effort from multiple universes. The philosophical conflict between Universe 2's love-based power and other universes' more traditional strength created interesting thematic contrast. Ribrianne genuinely believed love could overcome anything, that emotional purity mattered more than physical strength. Her elimination proved this belief wrong in practical terms, though perhaps not philosophically. Universe 3's mechanical nature made their fighters emotionally resilient to the tournament's pressure. Robotic beings didn't experience fear or panic, maintaining logical calculation throughout combat. This emotional stability proved advantageous, though it couldn't compensate for their ultimate power disadvantage. Anelaza's near success as a fusion construct showed the potential of Universe 3's technological approach to power. The massive warrior possessed strength comparable to gods, created through engineering rather than training. However, the fusion's complexity created the central vulnerability that led to its defeat. Pepperoni's coordination of the fusion process showcased Universe 3's strategic sophistication. The scientist warrior had designed Anilaza specifically for battle royale combat, making it optimal for the tournament's unique demands. Only combined efforts from multiple elite fighters could overcome his creation. Universe 4's deceptive strategy nearly eliminated several key fighters before being countered. Their invisible warriors created paranoia and confusion, making opponents waste energy fighting shadows. The psychological warfare approach showed sophistication beyond simple punching and kicking. Quitella's philosophy that cunning surpassed strength nearly proved correct, as Universe 4 survived longer than several physically stronger universes. Their elimination came from opponents adapting to their tricks, rather than simply overpowering them. This suggested that, given more time to develop new deceptions, Universe 4 might have advanced further. Universe 9's quick elimination made them the tournament's first victims, their weakness so apparent that other universes targeted them aggressively. The trio of Danger fought desperately but couldn't overcome the massive power gap, separating them from elite fighters. Their erasure set the tone for the tournament's deadly serious nature. Universe 10's honorable fighting style cost them strategic advantages but earned respect from opponents. Warriors from Universe 10 refused to use deception or cheap tactics, fighting fairly even when facing elimination. This nobility made them admirable, but also contributed to their relatively early defeat. The pattern of universe eliminations roughly correlated with their mortal levels, though not perfectly. Higher mortal level universes generally performed better, suggesting the ranking system measured something real about civilization's quality. However, exceptions existed, proving that rankings didn't determine everything. Universe 7's victory, despite having the second lowest mortal level, became the tournament's greatest surprise. Their success suggested that factors beyond mortal level mattered, that team composition, tactical coordination, and individual determination could overcome systemic disadvantages. This gave hope to lower-ranked universes that improvement was possible. The restoration of all erased universes created complex feelings among survivors. Relief at saving everyone competed with frustration that the desperate fighting had ultimately been unnecessary. Some warriors felt the tournament had been pointless if erasures weren't permanent, while others celebrated the merciful outcome. Android 17's wish demonstrated the character growth the tournament had catalyzed. The former villain-turned-hero chose universal salvation over personal gain, showing how far he'd come from his Red Ribbon Army days. His selflessness earned respect from beings across all universes. The Super Dragon Ball's power to restore erased universes amazed even the gods of destruction. Most had assumed erasure by the Omni Kings was permanent and irreversible, that not even Shenron could undo what Xeno had done. The revelation that the Super Dragon Balls exceeded even that limitation elevated their status as reality's most powerful artifacts. Shenron's appearance in response to the wish created spectacular visual effects, even in the world of Void. The cosmic dragon manifested across both Universe 6 and Universe 7 simultaneously, its scale incomprehensible to mortal perception. The dragon's power radiated through dimensions, touching all 12 universes as it granted the wish. The restored universes reappeared exactly as they'd been before erasure, no time having passed from their perspectives. This meant civilizations continued their daily routines without knowing they'd been gone, that countless beings had ceased existing and returned without awareness. The cosmic scale of the resurrection boggled minds trying to comprehend it. Some philosophers argued that the erased beings had never truly been gone if they had no memory or experience of non-existence. This perspective suggested the erasure had been temporary and reversible all along, that the threat was always less final than it appeared. Others countered that lack of memory didn't change the reality of what had happened. The theological implications of being erased and restored troubled some religious thinkers. Questions arose about whether beings who'd ceased existing and then returned were the same individuals or new creations. Did they still have souls? Were their memories genuine or implanted? These questions had no definitive answers. Most ordinary citizens across the restored universes remained blissfully unaware that anything unusual had occurred. Only warriors who'd participated in the tournament, gods who'd watched, and certain connected individuals knew the truth. This created a strange dichotomy between the informed few and ignorant masses. Earth's population exemplified this divide. The Z fighters and their families understood they'd nearly been erased from existence, while billions of other humans went about their lives normally. The defenders couldn't share the full truth without causing panic, so they carried the burden of knowledge silently. Chi-Chi's anxiety about Goku's safety intensified after learning about universal erasure. She'd nearly lost not just her husband, but her entire existence, every memory and moment of her life wiped away. This terrifying nearness to absolute annihilation made her more protective and worried about future dangers. Bulma processed the tournament's implications differently, her scientific mind analyzing the cosmic mechanics involved. The genius inventor wanted to understand how the Omni Kings could erase universes, what physical or metaphysical processes were involved. Her curiosity competed with appropriate fear of such overwhelming power. Vegeta's family had similar reactions to Goku's, with Bulma worrying while Vegeta remained focused on growing stronger. The Saiyan prince viewed the tournament as proof he needed more power, that becoming strong enough to influence cosmic events was possible. His ambition drove him to train harder than ever. Trunks and Goten heard stories about the tournament from their fathers, learning about Ultra Instinct and Divine Combat. The young Saiyans were inspired to train more seriously, wanting to eventually fight at the same level. Their fusion into Gotenks seemed less impressive after hearing about battles between gods. Gohan's daughter Pan grew up hearing tales about how Grandpa Goku and Daddy Gohan saved the entire universe. The stories shaped her childhood, making her want to become strong like her family. Pan's training began earlier than Gohan's had, her parents recognizing that cosmic threats required preparation. Vidal struggled with feeling powerless during the tournament, unable to contribute anything to Universe 7's survival. Her human limitations prevented her from fighting at levels necessary to matter. This frustration motivated her to train harder, though she realistically understood she'd never match Saiyan power. Piccolo continued training Gohan after the tournament, their student-teacher relationship evolving into genuine partnership. The Namekian recognized that Gohan had surpassed him in raw power, but still needed tactical guidance. Piccolo's experience complemented Gohan's strength perfectly. The tournament strengthened bonds between Universe 7's fighters, shared near-death experience creating camaraderie. Even Frieza developed grudging respect for his teammates, though he'd never admit it openly. The tyrant's perspective on cooperation shifted slightly, recognizing its occasional utility. Goku's friendship with fighters from other universes created diplomatic connections between realms. His relationship with Hit, Caulifla, Kale, and others facilitated cultural exchange and mutual understanding. These personal bonds helped prevent inter-universe conflicts in the tournament's aftermath. Universe 11's Jiren specifically maintained contact with Goku, the two warriors promising to fight again someday. Their rivalry lacked the hostility of Goku and Vegeta's relationship, instead representing mutual respect between equals. Jiren valued Goku's philosophy about strength through bonds, gradually incorporating it into his own worldview. Toppo and Gohan developed an unusual friendship based on their shared commitment to justice and protecting others. The Pride Trooper leader and the Scholar Warrior exchanged ideas about heroism and responsibility. Their correspondence helped both grow philosophically. Dispo and Android 17 formed an unexpected connection despite their different personalities. The Speedster admired 17's tactical thinking, while the android appreciated Dispo's straightforward honesty. They occasionally sparred when opportunities arose, pushing each other to improve. Universe 6's Hit and Universe 7's Goku maintained their rivalry friendship, seeking each other out for occasional matches. These fights occurred in non-lethal contexts, both warriors enjoying testing themselves against a worthy opponent. Their battles helped both develop new techniques and strategies. Caulifla and Kale visited Universe 7 multiple times after the tournament, training with Goku and Vegeta to learn new transformations. The young Saiyan's rapid progress impressed even Vegeta, who grudgingly acknowledged their natural talent. Caulifla's friendship with Goku particularly grew, the older Saiyan enjoying her enthusiasm for fighting. Cabba became closer with Vegeta after the tournament, the younger Saiyan viewing the prince as a mentor figure. Vegeta reluctantly accepted this role, teaching Cabba about Saiyan pride and combat techniques. Their relationship mirrored Goku and Gohan's in some ways, though with Vegeta's characteristic harshness. The Universe 6 and 7 Saiyans occasionally held joint training sessions, 4 Saiyan warriors pushing each other to new heights. These gatherings showcased different approaches to power, with Universe 7's experience balanced against Universe 6's fresh perspective. The exchange benefited everyone involved. Champa and Beerus used these Saiyan exchanges as proxies for their rivalry, each deity claiming their universe's Saiyans were superior. The twin gods argued constantly about whose fighters showed more improvement, whose techniques were better, whose transformations were stronger. Their bickering never ended, but remained mostly good-natured. Whis and Vados observed their gods of destruction with amused tolerance, the sibling angels understanding that the rivalry kept both deities motivated. Without competition, Beerus particularly might relapse into lazy habits. Champa's existence served as constant reminder that Beerus needed to maintain his universe's standing. The angelic siblings occasionally held their own training sessions, practicing techniques that far exceeded what their students could comprehend. These sessions occurred in dimensions mortals couldn't access, the angels' true power never fully displayed. Whis and Vados enjoyed their rivalry as much as their gods of destruction did. The Grand Priest watched over all these developments with satisfaction, his children's work improving the multiverse's overall quality. The tournament had shaken complacency from many divine beings, motivating them to take their responsibilities seriously. This renewed dedication to duty would raise mortal levels across multiple universes. The multiverse entered a period of increased interaction and cooperation after the tournament. Universes that had existed in isolation began establishing relationships, sharing knowledge and resources. This cosmic opening created opportunities for growth that hadn't existed before. Some universes remained isolationist by choice, preferring to develop independently without outside influence. The Grand Priest respected these decisions, allowing each universe to determine its own path. Forced cooperation would undermine the organic development he sought to encourage. Universe 7 particularly benefited from increased inter-universe contact, learning techniques and technologies from more advanced realms. Earth scientists collaborated with Universe 6 researchers, sharing discoveries that advanced both civilizations. These exchanges gradually improved Universe 7's mortal level ranking. Bulma's company Capsule Corporation became a major player in inter-universe commerce, developing technologies that worked across dimensional boundaries. Her genius adapted to new challenges presented by cross-universal physics differences. The wealth generated from these ventures funded more research and development. The Galactic Patrol expanded its jurisdiction to include inter-universe crime prevention, working with equivalent organizations from other realms. Jocko found himself coordinating with alien law enforcement from universes where physics worked differently. The expanded scope challenged the patrol but also made their work more meaningful. Earth's position within Universe 7 gained prominence due to its Defenders tournament performance. Other civilizations recognized that Earth produced warriors who could fight at divine levels, making the planet strategically important. This attention brought both opportunities and dangers. Some malevolent forces from other universes viewed Earth as a target, wanting to conquer or destroy the planet that had produced such strong fighters. These threats required the Z-fighters to remain vigilant, defending Earth from cosmic dangers that previous generations never faced. Goku welcomed these new challenges, viewing them as opportunities to fight strong opponents from different universes. His enthusiasm for battle sometimes created diplomatic incidents when he challenged foreign dignitaries to sparring matches. The Saiyan's social obliviousness remained unchanged despite cosmic stakes. Vegeta took his role as Earth's defender more seriously after the tournament, recognizing that protecting his adopted home protected his family. The prince's emotional growth continued gradually, his hard edges softening without losing the pride that defined him. Bulma and his children benefited from his increased presence and attention. Gohan balanced his scholarly work with defender responsibilities, developing time management skills that allowed him to excel at both. His research into Kai manipulation and transformation mechanics contributed to humanity's understanding of these phenomena. Gohan published papers under pseudonyms to avoid revealing too much about the Z fighter's abilities. The Supreme Kai studied Gohan's research with interest, the young god recognizing that mortal perspectives on divine power offered valuable insights. Shin began incorporating some of Gohan's theories into his own understanding of cosmic mechanics. The collaboration between deity and scholar proved mutually beneficial. Old Kai emerged from retirement occasionally to offer guidance on cosmic matters beyond Shin's experience. The ancient deity had witnessed countless universal cycles, his perspective spanning eons. Old Kai's knowledge proved invaluable for understanding the tournament's long-term implications. The revelation that the Omni Kings could be influenced by mortals changed how gods viewed their authority structure. Goku's casual friendship with Zeno demonstrated that the Supreme Ruler valued genuine connection over formal deference. This suggested that even the highest authority appreciated authenticity. Some gods tried to cultivate relationships with the Omni Kings after the tournament, hoping to gain influence or protection. However, Zeno saw through these transparent attempts at manipulation, preferring Goku's genuine friendship to political maneuvering. The Omni King's childlike nature made him excellent at detecting insincerity. The Grand Priest served as gatekeeper, preventing excessive access to the Omni Kings, protecting them from beings seeking to exploit their power. His role required balancing Zeno's desire for friends against the necessity of maintaining cosmic order. The Grand Priest managed this delicate balance with characteristic skill. Goku's special access to the Omni Kings through his summoning device made him informally influential in cosmic politics. Other beings occasionally asked him to convey messages or requests to Zeno, but Goku usually refused unless he personally agreed with the request. The Saiyan's integrity prevented him from becoming a political tool. Beerus regularly reminded Goku not to abuse his connection to the Omni Kings, worried that the Saiyan would accidentally cause another crisis. The god of destruction lived in constant low-level anxiety about what Goku might do next. This worry was well-founded given Goku's history of creating problems through good intentions. Whis found the situation amusing, his angel nature allowing him to appreciate cosmic irony. A mortal Saiyan having direct access to the multiverse's supreme authority, while gods had to go through proper channels, represented delightful chaos. Whis enjoyed watching how this unusual arrangement affected cosmic politics. The tournament's impact on youth across multiple universes manifested in increased martial arts training and combat sports popularity. Children who heard stories about the tournament wanted to become strong like the warriors they'd learned about. Dojos and training centers experienced unprecedented enrollment. This new generation of fighters approached training with different attitudes than their predecessors, understanding that cosmic stakes existed beyond personal or planetary conflicts. They trained, knowing that someday they might need to defend their universe in another tournament. This awareness added urgency to their development. Some educational systems incorporated martial arts training into standard curricula, recognizing combat skills' importance for universal survival. The tournament had proven that fighting ability could literally save entire civilizations from erasure. This justified dedicating resources to combat training that might have seemed excessive before. Earth's martial arts schools particularly benefited from the tournament's publicity, with students from other planets traveling there to train. Master Roshi's Turtle School experienced a renaissance, students seeking to learn from the legendary teacher who'd fought in the Tournament of Power. The elderly hermit enjoyed the attention while complaining about it loudly. Krillin opened his own dojo teaching practical martial arts for self-defense and tournament competition. His experience fighting opponents far stronger than himself made him excellent at teaching weaker students how to survive against superior foes. The monk's school became renowned for producing tough, resilient fighters. Tian Xinhan maintained his isolated training approach but occasionally accepted exceptional students who sought him out. The three-eyed warrior taught advanced techniques to those who demonstrated sufficient dedication. His students learned the importance of sacrifice and determination from their master's example. Piccolo rarely taught anyone besides Gohan, preferring to train alone most of the time. However, he occasionally advised young Namekians who sought guidance about their species' unique abilities. Piccolo's knowledge of advanced Namekian techniques made him valuable to younger members of his race. Vegeta refused to teach anyone except his own children, viewing training as too personal to share with outsiders. However, he occasionally sparred with serious warriors who requested matches, using these opportunities to test new techniques. The prince's battle-focused teaching style differed dramatically from more patient instructors. Goku taught informally through example rather than structured lessons, showing techniques to anyone interested and sparring with eager students. The Saiyan's casual teaching approach frustrated those expecting disciplined instruction, but inspired students who learned well from direct experience. His enthusiasm for martial arts proved contagious. The proliferation of martial arts training across multiple universes gradually improved average fighting capabilities throughout the multiverse. Future generations would possess combat skills beyond what previous eras had achieved. This rising baseline prepared civilizations for whatever challenges might come. The Tournament of Power became the standard that all future competitions would be measured against, its scale and stakes unprecedented in multiverse history. Warriors across all universes dreamed of participating in such an event again, wanting to test themselves against the best fighters reality had to offer. Speculation circulated about whether the Omni Kings would hold another tournament eventually, perhaps with different rules or formats. Some beings hoped for this, viewing it as opportunity for glory or redemption. Others dreaded the possibility, remembering the terror of fighting for universal survival. The Grand Priest neither confirmed nor denied that future tournaments might occur, keeping everyone uncertain. This ambiguity served his purposes by keeping universes motivated to improve their mortal levels. The threat of another tournament encouraged the divine work that raised civilizational quality. Universe 7's ranking slowly climbed from second lowest as Beerus and Shin worked to improve their realm's quality. The progress came gradually, incremental improvements over years rather than dramatic leaps. However, the trend was positive, suggesting they might eventually escape the bottom tier. Other universes pursued their own improvement strategies, each taking different approaches based on their unique situations. Some focused on technological advancement, others on cultural development, still others on spiritual enlightenment. The diversity of methods enriched the multiverse's overall development. The exempt universes maintained their high rankings, but didn't become complacent, recognizing that positions could change over time. Universe 1 particularly continued striving for perfection, their god of destruction and Supreme Kai working in perfect harmony to nurture their realm's development. The 4 lowest-ranked universes before the tournament all made improvement their top priority, terrified of being targeted if another competition occurred. Their increased efforts produced measurable results, though whether they could rise sufficiently to escape danger remained uncertain. The multiverse's overall quality improved because of the tournament's wake-up call, the threat of erasure, motivating better divine governance. The Omni King's harsh methods had produced positive results, though the ethics remained questionable. Sometimes fear proved effective motivation, even when morally dubious. Time passed slowly after the tournament, cosmic timescales measuring changes in centuries rather than years. The immediate aftermath faded into history as new generations grew up hearing about the Tournament of Power as legend. What had been current events became mythology, stories parents told children about when the multiverse nearly ended. Earth's defenders aged slowly due to their godly ki and Saiyan biology, remaining active as fighters for decades beyond normal human lifespans. They continued protecting their universe, facing threats that arose periodically. None matched the tournament's stakes, but all required attention. Goku and Vegeta's training never stopped, both Saiyans pursuing ever greater heights of power. Their rivalry endured across years, friendly competition pushing them to surpass each other repeatedly. Both eventually achieved complete mastery of Ultra Instinct through decades of dedicated practice. Gohan eventually achieved power rivaling his father's, his ultimate form evolving through continued development. The half-Saiyan balanced family life, academic career, and defender duties successfully. His daughter Pan became a formidable warrior herself, carrying on the family tradition. Piccolo lived on as Earth's eternal guardian, his Namekian lifespan allowing him to protect the planet for centuries. The warrior watched generations come and go, friends aging and dying while he endured. Piccolo's loneliness was offset by his dedication to Earth's protection. Androids 17 and 18 remained ageless due to their mechanical nature, observing human civilization's evolution across decades. 17 continued his ranger work, protecting Earth's animals while occasionally defending against cosmic threats. 18 raised her daughter Marin, watching her child grow old while staying young herself. Krillin aged normally, eventually retiring from active defense work but remaining involved through his dojo. The monk passed his knowledge to younger generations, ensuring Earth would have defenders when he was gone. His marriage to 18 endured despite their different lifespans. Master Roshi finally passed away from old age centuries after the tournament. His lifespan extended far beyond normal humans through training and turtle hermit techniques. His death marked the end of an era, the last connection to martial arts history that preceded the Z-Fighters. Goku mourned his first teacher deeply. The tournament's legacy endured across generations, becoming foundational mythology for multiple civilizations. Parents told children about the Tournament of Power, teaching lessons about courage, teamwork, and determination. The event shaped cultural values across universes. Thanks for spending this time in the Dragon Ball universe with me. If you'd like to keep drifting, another video is ready on the left of your screen. Maybe let it play as you close your eyes. Sleep might find you before the next story finishes.